Welcome in to Hardcore Sports live presentation of MLB Play-by-Play. I'm Blake Newsome, Twitter @ right here, joined by Mets Talk with Hayden, his Twitter @ Mets Hayden. We got a little hiccup for you guys. Last Sunday night, we were supposed to do the Dodgers-Padres Sunday night ESPN telecast. Fortunately for us, they started an hour earlier out west for some reason, and by the time we came down to set up the stream, it was the fourth inning. A little bit of a hiccup aside, we decided to bring you guys FS1's action tonight of the Chicago White Sox with Johnny Cueto on the mound, taking on the Kansas City Royals, the world champions of 2015, with Kris Bubic on the mound. Hayden, how you doing as the White Sox get started? Want to tell us about this White Sox starting lineup? We're jumping right into it.
Yeah, but of course you had to mention 2015. Getting into it, obviously Kris Bubic on the mound for the Kansas City Royals tonight. White Sox have really interesting game to go for tonight. Obviously, every single game for the White Sox is pretty much going to be a big decision maker. Obviously, that AL Central is very close up. Obviously, as we could take a look-see, they're only a game and a half back from the two tie teams in the AL Central, the Guardians and Twins. Guardians are on top right now, so we'll see if they could take sole possession of first place. But getting into the Chicago White Sox lineup, getting things started, leading off at second base, we have Josh Harrison.
Who struck out.
Just struck out. Batting second, the center fielder, Luis Robert. Batting third in the designated hitter spot, Eloy Jimenez, hoping to continue his good season. Batting fourth, cleanup, the first baseman, Jose Abreu. Batting fifth,
MVP.
That is true. Batting fifth, Andrew Vaughn. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Yon Moncada. Batting seventh, the catcher, Yasmani Grandal. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Gavin Sheets. And batting last, the shortstop, Len Sosa.
Len Sosa. I don't know if he's related to Edmundo in any way, but either way, it seems like the Sosa name is going to be forever around the game of Major League Baseball. Thank you so much for that, Hayden. As quickly, it's been 4 pitches tonight for Kris Bubic, and it's been 2 outs, 3 strikes swinging went down. Josh Harrison and Luis Robert rounded out 2 Bubic in relief right there. So it's automatically going to be on the shoulders of Eloy Jimenez with 2 down, nobody on here, top of the first inning. If this bat drags on for a little bit, maybe we'll have the opportunity to talk about Kris Bubic a little bit. If not, we got 8 innings to go. And as of right now, I think he'll have a second inning of work. Of course, 1-0 to Eloy Jimenez. Of course, we have our scorebook over here for our viewers. Pretty much on par with the most of the game. It's not an ESPN telecast, so there might be a little bit of a delay, but we'll let you guys know. 1-0 pitch is fouled down the right field line over towards the bullpen, and it trampled off it, so it'll be 1-1 to Eloy. The White Sox, as we'll probably get to throughout most of the game, Hayden, a team that started off just every way possible in the wrong direction and battled injuries, bad extra inning play, stupid managerial decisions from Tony La Russa. And it all combined to where they couldn't get over 500 until after the All-Star break, and here they are here, 56-54. Still only 2.5 games back of the Twins, and I believe they're right there tied with the Guardians to win this Central. Everybody wanted the AL Central to finally have a race. It has, and it's not the way we wanted it, but at least there's some exciting action here in the month of August. Eloy Jimenez on the ground in the shift and over to make the play to retire the side. So it's a 1-2-3 inning here, top of the first for Bubic. We're not going to go anywhere. Let's break down a little bit about the starting southpaw for the Royals tonight.
Yeah, obviously taking a look at Kris Bubic. He's having an okay season, obviously, for the Kansas City Royals standards. Obviously, if he were to go to majority of other ball clubs, his numbers probably would not be on par with that. But considering how the Royals have been, their starting pitching isn't that great, nor is any of their pitching really. But I guess he's been kind of one of the – I really hate to say few consistent guys, but I mean, you look at his numbers: 5.27 ERA, WHIP 1.54. Yeah, this dude hasn't had much of it this year. Gives up plenty of hard contact. I mean, he has a nice curveball. He dots the strike zone with his curveball, but really, otherwise, just has not been having the best of luck this year. Yeah.
And a funny story for people that don't know off the air. Of course, we mentioned at the beginning of the show that we were supposed to do the Padres-Dodgers game Sunday night. Things happened, and we're deciding to make up for it. We're still going to do the Sunday night telecast this week, and I think Hayden and I would rather enjoy the Field of Dreams game for what it is this year, being it is the Cubs and Reds. We just want to sit down and watch the ball game. So we decided to bring you guys the FS1 game tonight between the Royals and White Sox. The funny story is, a couple of days ago, and there's a group chat we have off the air with Mitch, a couple others at Hardcore, and Hayden and I that do the Long Ball podcast on the show. And I said to Hayden, I said, it's funny because we went from supposedly being able to announce Soto, Machado, and the Padres against the mighty LA Dodgers to here we are. I said, we're going to be calling a game with Johnny Cueto and Chris Bubich. And out of nowhere, somehow this ends up being the pitching matchup. So that's going to be the running theme in tonight's game. But speaking of which, Hayden, Johnny Cueto has been around for a long time. He was still out there in spring training, and the White Sox, feeling that they needed another arm in that rotation. We saw the injuries with Lance Lynn, and of course the Keuchel contract has never added up. Tell us what's going on with the guy who's been around the AL Central a lot his whole career. Former Royal, in fact.
Yeah, it was a Kansas City Royal. I remember that. Very harsh times for me. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the White Sox, this is a team just overall, they can't hit, they can't field, can't run the bases, and most importantly, they can't stay healthy. I mean, you said it before, they've been hovering around a 500 record for quite some time now.
They really do remind me of the Braves of last year, and I've said that for a long time.
And I mean, they had the deadline, and they even failed to somehow put any sort of assistance there. And right now, a lot of people are, blaming Tony La Russa. I think it's hard, really, overall with the Chicago White Sox team. Last year, were they a good team? Yes. Were they also kind of in a division where there wasn't much talent? Yes.
They went like 42 and 35 in the second half. They just kind of coasted, and you saw it. They ran into the Astros, and they ran them over.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously now you have much more challenge. You have much more of a challenge, obviously, from the Cleveland Guardians, who were putting up a pretty good fight. Even the Minnesota Twins, they had a huge bounce back here. Last season, this was a team that lost just about 100 games and was in fifth place in the division last year. And they completely, tables have really turned for, the AL Central overall. But I think Johnny Cueto so far has been he's been having a really good season for the most part so far. Plenty of swinging and misses, getting plenty, 79th percentile in chase rate. You like to see that. 81st percentile in walk rate. You like to see that. Doesn't strike out a whole lot of guys. But you know what? Ground ball pitcher, he can get the job done somehow. And if he could provide depth, be that, quality over quantity type of guy for the White Sox, then, that's what it's going to be. And that's the first hit of the game on the second pitch of the game. Bobby Witt Jr., MJ Melendez will single that sharply to right field.
Well, actually, in that process, we also missed a Bobby Witt fly out deep into center field, and there a 3-6-3 double play is right at the end of the inning.
That was a pretty quick first inning from Cueto. What was that, like 5 pitches?
Quick inning from both guys. Yeah, it had to have been 5 or 6 pitches at max. Bobby Witt, of course, is the new Witt in town for now on in Kansas City, with Whit Merrifield, of course, deciding to get vaccinated across the border, playing for the Blue Jays on their pennant chase. And then now Salvador Perez, who's just stranded there all by himself, grounds into an inning-ending double play to 6-4-3. Or actually, it was 4-6-3, second to short to first. So MJ Melendez was out at second. So another 1-2-3 inning. I'll get up the banner. RJ's Rangers, they're beating up on the White Sox, that's for sure. Ever since that Danny Duffy Lance Lynn trade, those teams have had like a sneaky little rivalry, it seems.
I don't know what's going on. Rangers have a really interesting season also. They started off pretty well, 500 pound, and now they're still
kind of fighting. I think they're like 52 and 61. Like, they're better than what we thought they'd be. So
no, I agree. And I mean, obviously, having a huge down year from Simeon. Seager, he's showing some light, but still, you definitely Texas Rangers will probably be shopping this offseason 100%. I still think they'll be in it, for the next month or so. But we'll see. Obviously, plenty of division matchups for them.
And that's the thing. When you have the A's and the Angels in your division, if you win series versus them and you split or able to steal some games from the Astros and Mariners, you're going to be in a good position. Only issue is they have not been able to beat the Astros and the Mariners this year. And early in the year, the Angels were giving them trouble. So that's kind of where they're at right now. Of course, Seager had a nightmare first half. And I'm not sorry. Simeon had the nightmare first half. Seager really just had a really good month of June to be able to bolster him into the All-Star competition. But, I mean, I think you got to like where the Rangers' future is at. I feel like they got one of the best farm systems in baseball. If they can get a couple of their young pitchers that are not so young anymore to maybe get better with age, like you see some of the guys do, they're in really good shape. I mean, you look at Jack Leiter and of course, who's the guy that you guys drafted that they just took last year that you guys? Kumar Rocker, yes, thank you. Kumar Rocker is also in that system. He's already in Double-A. Him and Jack Leiter play together at Vanderbilt. You like that for them. They have two really good catching prospects they really like, and Jonah Heim and Sam Huff. And yeah, I think that's going to be a good team. And again, when you're in a division with the A's and the Angels, you got a chance to be really good. Go ahead, Hayden, as we welcome Ray to the box.
To add on, I mean, the Rangers, in my opinion, have a really top tier farm system. Obviously, their third base prospect, Josh Jung, also could potentially be making his major league debut probably next season. ZTA is 2022, but probably just call him up out of spring training. Obviously, the pitching is really where it's at for them. And they've kind of gone off after pitching pretty much the last 2 years. And yeah, as you mentioned it in the comment section, they've been going after pitching for the last 2 years. Owen White, Cole Winn, Jack Leiter. They picked up Kumar Rocker this season. So, I mean, they got a pretty good farm system. So
Abreu is going to give that one a ride. It's going to one-hop the wall. And Jose Abreu with a stand-up double here to start the second inning.
We got some quick action in this game, swinging at, the first pitch or two. Both lineups being pretty aggressive. I mean, 5 first pitch inning, already 11 pitches. And
I don't know why there's a lot of Royals fans in attendance tonight, but shout out to them. I guess, I mean, when they have one good year out of a decade, they're kind of show up regardless. It's kind of what they're used to, right?
I've never been to Kauffman, but I heard it's a really nice stadium.
Yeah, and I think it was the host of the 2012 All-Star Game. The last time the National League actually won an All-Star Game was that season. Of course, as soon as it gets hosted by Citi Field, it all went downhill from there. The National League has not been able to win a game since then. They took it away from Truist, so we couldn't end it. And, here's where we are. Andrew Vaughn in the box here, 300 hitter on the year, 11 homers. One of the pieces that people thought would get moved at the deadline by the White Sox, and they were able to hold on to him. And he's had a great stride since the trade deadline, the last good week or so. Takes a strike there, so it's 1-1. Chris Bubich. Of course, last year they're showing his average here on the screen, a 235 hitter, a 298 hitter. Now, of course, batting average isn't a stat that people look at in depth as much as they did a couple of years ago, but still, if you're a 300 hitter, you're doing something right, whether it's with luck or skill. And as of right now, with a base hit right now, he could be right at that point, hitting 298. Also up 2-1 on the count, of course. Bubich, the lefty, one of the failed prospects in the White Sox system the last couple of years. And they're just kind of riding with him for the next couple of years. Well, it seems like the White Sox rebuild has kind of aged on forever and ever now. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2015. I believe 2016, they were right back to 15, 20 games under 500. And I don't think they've had a 75-win season since then. So it's been a lot of rough years for the Royals, selling off big pieces at the deadline. Some of them have ended up being playoff heroes for teams. But be interesting to see where they and, of course, the Detroit Tigers, who had some news earlier today. We'll probably talk about them within the division a little bit later on. So Andrew Vaughn draws the walk on 5 pitches, though. So the first 2 this inning are going to reach off of Bubich, and that's going to bring up Yoan Moncada to the dish, who's had a rough year, to say the least. Another one of the guys that started the year hurt, couldn't get it rolling, had to spend some time rehabbing once more to make sure he was fully ready to go. and he's still hitting only a buck 197, 6 homers, 32 ribbies, an OPS of under 700. But one good month, and that's going to be the most important month of them all. And I think the White Sox will be a lot more happy where he could end the season at. We appreciate you loving that Ranger segment, RJ. 2 on, nobody out here. First pitch to Moncada. They're going to say he won a round, strike 1. How far ahead am I from you, by the way, Hayden?
Am
I ahead of you or are you ahead of me?
You're way ahead of me. I'm seeing Vaughn walk to first base.
Oh, wow. That's rough. Oh, that's a lot of time. Moncada swinging away at 0-1. Fouled back off the screen. I'm trying to set up a text-to-speech for people. Or not a text-to-speech, a little banner at the bottom like we usually do. So we'll update the score after every half inning. So the White Sox will score 6 this inning, and it's probably still going to say 0-0 to the middle of the second. So you guys stay with us. We'll update it in between innings. 0-2 to Moncada. Bubic, 19th pitch. He's going to give a look to Vaughn at first. And the 0-2 is swung on and fouled towards the third baseline in foul territory to pick it up. The only unfortunate thing is it's hard to know everybody on the Royals lineup. Like Hayden, I feel like you and I know a good bit of baseball, but it's hard to know every single person of this Royals lineup. So we'll do the best that we can to maybe educate ourselves throughout the ball game because we want to sound as professional as possible here tonight on the Hardcore Sports Network.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Royals, like you said, the rebuilding process that's been dragging on for quite some time, and guys are coming in and out. Really, the only guys that have really been on this Kansas City Royals squad for quite some time now is really Salvador Perez. Obviously, they're hoping, with the young guys and Bobby Witt Jr., that, they could hope to expand on some of those names and get back to contention, and it just really hasn't been the case for them. Like you said, 2015 they won the World Series, and then the year after they just never really got back into their groove.
I forget which team they won it against. Wasn't it the I want to say it was the
Braves, right?
I don't think so. I think the Braves just made the World Series the first time in the century, but I don't know. We'll have to maybe do some research on that later tonight. That's 1-0 to Yasmani Grandal, another big piece that they signed in free agency a couple years ago, who's just had a terrible year, only hitting 190. Now, I believe the defense has been where they've wanted it this year, but the White Sox have just been an all-out disappointment this year, and here they are still in a great situation to put themselves in a playoff run because as we've seen in the last couple of years from the Royals, the Braves, the Giants even on 2 of their runs, if you just get in, you get yourself a shot. And the White Sox are fighting to do that. They got to win every game against a team like Kansas City and Detroit to do so. And thankfully, they get them 38 times a year. 2-0 is taken for a strike.
Yeah, Grandal really hasn't been himself really since 2020, 2019. He was hurt last year, came back, and, had a phenomenal, 100 games, which he barely played in, 155 OPS plus. Take that into your head. He has a 52 OPS plus this season. So, 50% below average and 100% complete difference from what he had last season. And this dude just really has not been having it at all. He's not even getting on base, 287 OBP. He's not even hitting for any power, as we could see. Only 2 home runs, slugging of 239. This dude pretty much has little to no power. This was a guy who was definitely capable of, hitting 20, 25 homers. And I understand that's how it is for catchers.
He's able to get the on-base percentage up there. It's going to be the second straight walk this inning given up by Bubic. The leadoff double, and, of course, the only 1 out so far. It's a bases-loaded scenario here. They're going to come out and talk to Bubic here. Gavin Sheets is up swinging the bat in the on-deck circle, ready to take a hack here. This is the situation you want if you're the Royals. You want to be able to get in a position to be able to put the throat on somebody. Just be able to go ahead and pedal to the metal. And they have a shot with a hit into the gap here to possibly put themselves up 2 runs. I don't know if they're going to be able to get Grandal to be able to score from first base, but I think a base hit, you're definitely trying to get 2 runs. with the fast runner at second, Abreu at third. A ball in the outfield should score both of them. But the one thing you don't want is a double play. And if lefty here, I think Bubic might like the scenario. If he ever would like a bases loaded scenario, it would be in a lefty situation. But we'll see what happens here. Gavin Sheets, first pitch out towards left field. Shallow coming on to make the play, and there's 2 away. Trying to figure out who's in left field for the Royals again. I have to click over here. It is MJ Melendez, who led off the bottom of the first inning with an opposite field single. So that will retire Andrew Vaughn. But the good news is it continues the inning. I think the only time you cheer for a strikeout in baseball, if you're the team batting, is if it's going to give you a shot to not end the inning instead of a double play. And while that wasn't a strikeout there, I think the same point holds. The White Sox still with a shot to do some damage here in the second. You don't want to leave the bases loaded. This is Lorene Sosa, I believe is what you said his name was, Hayden?
Correct.
And he's going to take first pitch strike, collar high, 0-1. Nice piece of cheese there from the lefty, giving it right into the right-hand side of the box. Interesting decision there by the White Sox coaching staff, maybe to not send Abreu home from third base, but they didn't. And it'll be up to Sosa whether the White Sox get some production this inning. 0-1 is fouled back off the net, headed down towards the Royals dugout, and it's quickly 0-2. Bubic nearing 30 pitches. So far in an inning and 2/3 work, 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. Looking to get one more big pitch here to get him out of the inning unscathed. Even if you give up one, you probably like where you are in the scenario, but it all is to behold. Sosa with Perez setting outside. Go ahead. It's 1-2.
One thing to point out on Abreu probably could have went home on that catch by Melendez because I think he thought that there was 3 outs because he was, kind of jogging in with that.
Yeah. And Bubic was kind of very surprised they didn't as well. He was pointing to be able to get it down to Perez behind the plate, but no send. 1-2 is once again fouled back off the screen. We'll do it again. 94-mile-an-hour 4-seamer there. Got a good piece of the zone. Sosa just not able to put the barrel on the bat. Top of the second inning here. Scoreless here from Kauffman Stadium between the Royals and the White Sox. Of course, as of right now, as we've mentioned a couple times, the Royals 45-66. 26-32 record here at Kauffman Stadium this year. The White Sox 56-54, 6 games over 500 away from U.S. Cellular Field. As that's going to be strike 3 swinging to Sosa, and Bubic gets out unscathed. Bases loaded, 1 out, walk 2 guys, and he puts up a goose egg. So we go to the bottom of the second inning. We're still scoreless. I think the most interesting thing in Hayden is that the White Sox are 6 games over and on the road this year. You would think that they would at least be handling business at home to be at this point, but no, they've struggled there. And I think a lot of it is they've had poor extra inning play, and a lot of times it's the home extra inning team that loses. And I feel like in most scenarios, when you go to extra innings, I feel like the away team has the advantage to win. That's another rabbit hole I don't want to get into, but I feel like that's really reaping the benefit for the White Sox. It seems like once a week or so, they have an extra inning loss at home, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, kind of when it comes to the whole extra inning thing, it's kind of complex to think about because you would think, and you can make the argument that it is the away team that has the advantage. But I mean, with the home team, one swing of the bat, it's their ball game with the homer. So yeah, pretty rough inning from the Chicago White Sox. Obviously, they get 2 on, a double to start things off, and a walk, followed by a strikeout. Grandal gets on for the few times he hasn't been walking much this year, so impressive to see him walk on 5 pitches. But unfortunate. I don't really know what happened there. I mean, you probably could have honestly scored Abreu from third because Melendez thought there were 3 outs because he was, jogging in with the ball. So even regardless of how his arm is, Melendez, who definitely does have a strong arm to the extent, I'm not a Kansas City Royals expert, but from what I've seen and heard, I think he has a pretty good arm. Probably still could have scored considering he was not cognizant on how many outs there were. But yeah, I mean, that's just been another part of the White Sox unfortunate season is hitting with runners in scoring position. Like we said, right now they are 0 for 3 with 3 left on base. And, a big part is not having Tim Anderson as that, type of leadoff hitter in this lineup. We know that Tim Anderson is going to be out for quite some time. I believe they said something around the lines of a couple months or a couple weeks due to a torn ligament in I think it was his hand or his arm. Out 4 to 6 weeks due to a torn ligament in his hand.
It just seems like which White Sox player has been healthy all year? Giolito's missed time. Lance Lynn's missed a lot of time. He's had a terrible year. And there's a leadoff single into right field by Pasquanto.
I mean, Giolito hasn't been having the best year also. I mean, he hasn't really been the Cy Young caliber player that people claimed him of being.
Yeah. I think he might be the worst of the 3 that was on that high school pitching staff. Of course, that pitching staff being Jack Flaherty, Max Fried, and Lucas Giolito, all being on the same team. I think Giolito might have been the worst of the 3. He's had the highest of the highs, but I feel like he's had a lot of bad years in his system too. And you would think pitching with guys like Lance Lynn and Dylan Cease's come along, and they had a good year of Keuchel too. You would think that he'd be able to take his game to the next level, learning with other good pitchers around him. I mean, Johnny Cueto's had a good year too, and he's a 2-time, 3-time World Series champion, so he's been around the block as well. And it seems like Giolito can't hone in on the consistent success, and a lot of it you can point back in and say, how much is this on Tony La Russa maybe dragging this team down? But the unfortunate thing is the White Sox ownership let La Russa walk once back in the day, and it ended up costing them a couple rings with the St. Louis Cardinals. And it's sad to say La Russa probably has one of the safest jobs in baseball right now. He might be sleeping in the first inning of games, and it seems like he won't be going here until he won't be gone from the south side until he's in a casket. And that's might be the downfall of this team because their window is wide open, and it seems like everything has just gone wrong this year.
Yeah, like you and I have both said, it's health. Health is the biggest contributing thing that's going against them. When healthy, this team is capable of, capable of hitting with runners in scoring position and being clutch, making athletic and acrobatic plays in the field, having great guys in the bullpen and in the rotation, but just health has really came back to bite them.
3-1 is in the shallow center field. Coming on to make the play is Robert, and there's one away. Of course, Pasquanto. I think we might as well just call our guy Pasky for tonight's broadcast. We apologize for any of the Royals fans out there that may be cringing at the part that we're pronouncing it incorrectly. We're very sorry once again. We're going to try to educate ourselves on your team as much as we can throughout the ball game. So Hunter Dozier was retired, F8, and there's one on, one away for, it looks like Nick Prado here.
It'd be Pasquantino.
Pasquantino. The more you know. What's his first name? Victor?
Let's see.
Seems like a Victor or a Vinny.
Vinny.
I love it.
Pasquantino.
It's Italian if I ever heard it.
I would say so.
Who knows? That could be a Taiwanese name, and we have no idea. Oh wow, what a play by the White Sox there! It looks like that's going to be an inning-ending double play in the most White Sox fashion ever. So Prado grounds the ball to the first base side. There to step on the bag was Jose Abreu. So then firing down to second base for Josh Harrison to make the tag on Vinny to end the inning. So you think they could have gone a standard 3-6-3, but nope, they went the hard way around, and it worked out. It looks like the transfer might have been dropped, but no call from the umpire. And that's going to be it from the second inning from Kansas City, home of the 2020 World Champions in the NFL, the Chiefs. But baseball town has not been as lively the last couple of years. I think that's why Patrick Mahomes decided to buy some ownership in this team, Hayden. Isn't that a little interesting tidbit?
Yeah, maybe I'll have to give some of his athleticism to them. But one little interesting thing I did want to point out with the Red Sox is Dylan Cease.
White
Dylan
Sox.
Cease is really having a phenomenal season, and is definitely is really Cy Young caliber season. Probably is definitely going to be in the Cy Young race. I mean, looking at his numbers so far this season, casual numbers, he's 12-4, 1.98 ERA, obviously 1.1 WHIP, 166 strikeouts, in all 122 and 2/3 innings pitched. I mean, this dude has really been on fire. 12.2 strikeouts per 9, obviously only 0.7 home runs per 9. So this dude really has been having a great streak going. And one little interesting fact to bring up is he has gone 13 straight starts with one or few runs earned. And that ties him, in the same category with guys like Jacob deGrom, who has the record tied with him. deGrom obviously had that record in 2021.
DeGrom's a pretty good pitcher, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. And I mean, that's a streak that has not been defeated since 1913. A little fact there. So we will see if he can continue to have the success. Obviously, he was the American League Pitcher of the Month, back-to-back months in June and July, and had a pretty interesting start so far in August.
I might have an interesting question to ask you about DeGrom later tonight. But
yeah, go for it.
We'll get to that maybe when it's a little bit of garbage time. Josh Harrison stepping into the box, takes the first called strike. 0-1. I see my Braves are up 3-0 in the fifth inning. Good to see. 0-1 now to Harrison is going to be chopped back off the screen. And once again, ahead is Bubic. Now, this was a sneaky signing. A lot of people thought for the Royals to complete that lineup this year. The Adam Eaton train did not really go to par last year. And, of course, them running the Yerminator off the Major League roster really left them in a spot where they couldn't really platoon and they didn't have guys to complete their lineup. And Josh Harrison, who had a good year between the nation's capital and Oakland last year, was thought to be a great pickup, and he's just been absolutely baffling bad. It's just second time tonight he's gone down looking on 3 straight pitches. I don't know why this guy would even be leading off. And another Tony La Russa flaw, and I hate that we're flaunting on a Hall of Famer so much, but in this age of baseball, it's baffling to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you don't have your usual leadoff hitter, so that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, that's just I don't understand that approach there either. I don't know what pitch he was looking for. He's taken 3 different pitches tonight, all for strikes, and he's been set down on 6 pitches twice. So very odd scenario there. But Luis Robert maybe here to pick him up in a 1-0. Here's the 1-0. It's going to be swung on out towards left field for a base hit past the diving Nicky Lopez. So there's 1-on, 1-out here in the third inning. I'm not surprised the viewers are dropping here in this third inning. It's a game that, to be honest, might not be the most exciting, but we're here for reps.
Yeah, if I can be real, I may have to brush up a little bit on my Kansas City Royals knowledge.
Well, you know a lot about them from 2015.
I can tell you about, Salvi wasn't even with them then. So, I mean.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I thought it was 2016.
2014, he hit against Bumgarner, so maybe he was hurt. But 2014, I know he was in the World Series, unless he was injured. Oh,
15.
Fouled back off the screen. While you look that up, Eloy Jimenez down 0-1 in the count. Eloy's power numbers have really dropped this year too, huh? Jeez.
Oh yeah, he was. Never mind. I was thinking of
maybe he was the backup at the time. I don't know.
Well, no, he won MVP, the World Series MVP.
But I don't know. Turned off the telecast by then.
No, I don't remember why I don't remembering that. I
mean, I completely understand if you weren't watching at that point. I know when the Falcons lost the Super Bowl, I was tuning out by the time Brady got his MVP trophy. So that's how it works sometimes.
Comeback of the Patriots. But, yeah, I mean, really, the only guy that's been with this team for, more than, 2-3 years is really just Salvi.
Yeah. Whit Merrifield's gone.
Yeah, Merrifield.
Danny Duffy was gone, too. I know I accidentally mispronounced him as Dane Dunning earlier for the Royals. I mispronounced the Lance Lynn exchange. But yeah, a couple of their long-term guys are gone. Quickly 2 away, Jimenez. Like they shallow right field fly out.
Yeah, Merrifield wasn't in 15. I know that.
Yeah. South Carolina kid. He's carved out a pretty good career. Last couple of years have not been what Mariff would like. But 2018 and 19, he led the league in hits. Not the greatest pop in the world, but he'll hit you 15 homers over 162 games, and he'll play a multitude of positions. And I think what's funny is that after a month earlier saying I don't want to get vaccinated, he ends up going to a team where he's like, yeah, I kind of don't want to be the Kyrie Irving of baseball. I kind of want to be able to enjoy the Rogers Center and play in a playoff run and not just have to meet him across the border every time. So he decided, like a smart man, not to be political at all, but for his scenario, to just get the vaccination. And who would have thought? He's playing healthy, and he's helping out the Blue Jays in any way possible, who have trimmed the AL East lead to the lowest I think it's been all year. So there we go, says RJ. That's my buddy. Shout out to him in the chat. So we got two away here at top of the third inning. Jose Abreu, who's 1 for 1. He had the leadoff double to start last inning's action here. Bubic awaiting pitch number 39. Salvador Perez giving him the sign. A look back to the runner at first in Jimenez, or in Robert, I should say. And Abreu takes the first pitch high for a ball. Abreu, another player that had not tasted the postseason until the expanded rosters in 2020 and really had a great wildcard series in Oakland. Of course, how ironic was it that Liam Hendricks was the guy to end the White Sox season to then join in that winner. But Abreu is, I feel like, been one of the better players that's gotten better with age over the years. Here's the 1-0. And there for a called strike at 92 miles an hour, another four-seamer from Duffy. Or no, from Duffy. Oof, jeez. From Bubic. Once again, a good crowd for mid-August here at Kauffman Stadium for a team 21 games under the 500 mark. The Royals still showing out, knowing that the Chiefs are just a mere weeks away. 1-1 pitch, dribbling on out towards third base and in foul territory is Bobby Witt to toss it to the fan in the front row. So 1-2 to Jose Abreu. That kind of rhymed. So step out and ask for time. What's the name of the player that hit that home run in Game 3 of the playoffs for the White Sox last year? He's the one that had been the longest tenured guy in the team. It's not Abreu. I don't think he's in the lineup tonight. I'll have to double check on that because he might be somebody we see later in tonight's game. 1-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. He got him. And that's going to be 2.5 complete from Kauffman. It's the Royals nothing and the White Sox nothing.
Adam Engel?
I don't think it's Engel. He hit a home run in Game 3 against Houston, if you want to look at that.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he play with the Nationals?
Yeah, he came back last year.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
That was Adam Eaton, not Engel, right? That was Adam Eaton.
It was Eaton. Yeah.
See, we're mixing up everybody tonight. These are two teams that we clearly do not watch a lot, and it shows.
I think many people don't.
No, it was not Tim Anderson. It's somebody that's been playing since 2013-14. Anderson's only been in the league 4 or 5 years.
Probably Adam Eaton then, because I know he spent some time with.
He was like the longest tenured White Sox. I'll look it up.
Yeah, he spent some time on the south side of Chicago. Then he went to DC for a little bit. Won the World Series, came back.
He was like the current longest tenured. Like he had been there since like 2014. Larry Garcia. That's who it is. Larry Garcia. Let me see. I'll look up his stats of the year. I remember because I remember having to watch that game, one, because it's playoff baseball and the White Sox were facing elimination. I remember it was a Sunday night, right? Or was it? I want to say it was a Sunday night. Or Monday night, one of the two, because I had school the next morning. And it was very ironic because if the White Sox won that game that night to force a Game 4, the Braves were going to have to play a 12-20 game the next day or something stupid. I think that's what it was. There was because the Braves-Brewers Game 3 was like a 12-20 start time in Atlanta, Georgia. It made no sense. I remember I had tickets and I couldn't go because of school because of Larry Garcia's home run in that game. That's why I remember it.
I forgot school. I'm going to the game, but
when your mom's the one that's taking you, it's kind of hard to skip and then lie about it. So I remember watching it in ELA class when Jock hit that homer and we all had explicit language and the teacher kind of already knew what was going on. So that was at least a cool scenario. But it was definitely a funny moment to say the least. I just don't get it. Why do some MLB playoff games have to be 12 or 2 p.m. local? So especially when some stadiums are suburban like Atlanta's is, a lot of our parking lots are office lots from 9 to 5. So nobody got to the game until about the third inning because of the start time, but also it was a little bit of a hike to find parking for most people. So first 2 innings, it was almost a COVID atmosphere, being 10% attendance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too messy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why they do them at I know what you're talking about. They have 12:10 or 2:20 start. I don't know why. Maybe something with TV rights or something is what I'm assuming, because it's usually FS1 or
because ESPN and MLB Network carry the wild card, and then the rest of the way it's Turner has one series and then one league, and then Fox Sports is the other. So yeah, you're right, but you would think they'd at least have some common sense to be like, okay, why are we having Atlanta and LA play at 2 p.m. local time on a Thursday, but then having a game in Boston that night with the team from Texas?
So it's going to be interesting how they do it this upcoming year. Obviously, usually, you'd only have 2 wild card games, an AL and an NL, and they'd be, first game would be the AL, second game would be the NL. But this year, considering that there's going to be, extra games, I wonder how they're going to tackle that.
I think ESPN will definitely get some playoff games this year. That's for sure. Other than just the one that they have. Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they covered the whole wild card series. If they just
I would like to see some of these games on ABC or NBC. I think that'd be a great way to expand it.
I don't know if they have NBC MLB playoff rights, but maybe they do with them just recently losing the NHL. Maybe they'll have something in there, but I haven't heard anything. But who knows? We might end up seeing a White Sox game on NBC Sports Network.
They recently brought back, I think it was the Rangers.
Strike 3 call.
Played. I think it was on Christmas, a game on ABC, and it was like the first time since like 1990 something.
This is not true, Connor, but you can keep saying that every stream if you want, but it's never going to get to my head as a Florida fan that we're not better than Alabama, but you can keep sucking up to me if you want. You remember this guy, don't you? I think you were you in this? Were you in was I on live with you when he last came in here for that Sunday night game? I think I was. I think that was the Mets game, right? Mets Padres game.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, RJ knows who he is. Shout out to you, Connor, but it's not true. Florida's not better than Bama. 1-1 to Isbell here, the center fielder, batting 8th for the Royals. Johnny Cueto has retired the first 7 he's seen. They've had 2 hits, but I believe they had a double play in both innings. So that's kind of where you're at. That ball is going to be ripped down the right field line. Quick turn for second is Isbell, and he's going to be in there standing for a 1-out double here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And here come the Royals once again to see if they can jump on him here. Scoreless, Cueto left a little sinker too far in. Isbell was able to get his hands on it and pull it down the right field line. I'm sure when you eventually see it, Hayden, you'll maybe be able to give us a little bit of a breakdown, but I know you're probably awaiting that at bat to start. So as we wait, Nicky Lopez into the box here, the 9-hole. And takes a called strike. Cueto, only 25 pitches to this point in time. Royals with a hit every inning. And for the first time, they'll be able to turn over the batting order. One and one count. Cueto working very quickly here. He's been from the stretch a couple times tonight. 2-1 count now. So, Hayden, did you see the oh, oops, I typed with the wrong thing.
Double on the ground.
Yeah, you see that double off the sinker?
I did.
Two and one. It's popped up into foul ground. Calling for it is Mancata, and there's two away. Of course, staying at second base very wisely is Isbell, and there's two away here in the third.
So Cueto is hoping to try and get out of this 2-out jam with the runner on second. Cueto has, for the most part, been pretty good. As I was saying, Cueto, for the most part, has been really good with stranding runners in scoring position, one of the highest in the league. And he will just need to retire MJ Melendez to increase his numbers in that stat.
Stats are always changing in front of our eyes, and with the chance to here. Melendez also with a chance to add to his RBI total and up his batting average here, up 2-0 in the count, make it 3-0 now. That pitch just missing the plate. Of course, they showed a little stat here. Johnny Cueto is the lowest ERA of any pitcher, 36 years of age and higher. As of right now, Jim Katt in 1974 and 1975 had a 3.11 and 2.92 ERA. And Cueto, as of right now, if he's able to get out of this inning, will probably have an ERA in the 2.8s. And there's 2 on, 2 out. So a 4-pitch walk to Melendez. That's not what Hayden was talking about Cueto's percentage to be able to get it up there. But a 4-pitch walk is going to turn the lineup over to MJ Melendez, who singled to right field, or excuse me, Bobby Witt Jr. Things all out of whack here. Who flew out to center, deep center field at that, his first time up. It was about 5 feet away from being off the wall. I see your chats, RJ.
And we'll see if Bobby Witt has the sticks in this at bat.
See if he's able to do what Whit Merrifield was able to do for a long time in Kansas City and just knock him in. And him and Salvi were a great core for a lot of bad years in KC. He was able to get on, and Salvi was able to bring him in a lot of times. So we'll see what the new Witt, without the H and with the double T, is able to do here. Who's going to be a star, I believe, in the long-term future for the Royals. It's 2-0 to him. One of the guys that did not lose a lot of his prospect round in the COVID season. A lot of top prospects kind of flailed out that year and never recovered. Bobby Witt was not one of those guys who had a great 2021 minor league year and actually started the year with the club in Kansas City. Never got sent back down to AAA. Has been up with the Royals the whole Major League campaign. And here he is here in a prime position, up 2-1 in the count against the dangerous Johnny Cueto, who 1 walk and 1 strikeout to his total so far. 3 hits, of course, given.
Yeah, one thing I would like to add is, I mean, Bobby Witt, I would say, is having a pretty acceptable, rookie campaign that I think, any rookie would be proud of. For example, taking a look-see at some of Bobby Witt Jr.'s stats, we could see he's a shortstop. So as one thing to say, he's a great defender. He has great speed, the 100th percentile in sprint speed. And that is one good thing you could see out of him. And adding on to that, as we can see, he has 21 stolen bases. So that's not something you see in a whole lot of rookies and just players overall. We feel like stealing bases is kind of a dead thing this year, and it's recently been a dead thing. So it's good to see Bobby Witt Jr. Try and bring some of that back. Julio Rodriguez also, but focusing on Witt Jr. 15 homers, 56 ribbies, 21 stolen bases. Taking a look at his average, 251. OPS 735.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there, Hayden. A 3-1 pitch is going to be lined out to left field over there to cut it off, and there'll be no play at the plate. It's 1-0 Royals. Having to make a 360 throw there to keep the leading run from scoring was Andrew Vaughn, but across the plate safely for the Royals, and it's 1-0 bottom of the third. I'm trying to figure out who scored the run. I believe it was Isbell. Yes, it was Isbell who came around to score. So we got some action here at bottom of the third inning, 1-0.
So yeah, I guess it's 57 RBIs now for Bobby Witt. Yeah, and then as I was saying, 735 OPS. He doesn't walk a whole lot, as we could see, 294 OBP. Obviously, that'll be a little bit inflated due to that hit. Like I said, he does not walk a lot, 11th percentile in walk percentage. So hopefully he could try taking a little bit more pitches, be a little bit more of a selective hitter. Strikes out a fair amount. So hopefully that could be something he works on. But he hits the ball hard. He definitely has one of the highest exit velocities for a rookie, being in the 92nd percentile in max exit velocity and the 80th in average exit velocity. So, when he gets onto a barrel, he drives it, and it's going far, and he hits it hard.
Another guy who's hit the ball hard a lot throughout his career is Salvador Perez in a 1-1 count here. I was trying to catch his splits before they took him away from us here on our game day. You see this red box right here that I'm pointing at. I guess you guys can't see my mouse on the screen, but the box that's in the bottom right, he is hitting a 308 when a ball is hit into that zone, and the one above it, 320. And you see Cueto on your screen trying to work his way on the outside. Because if you look at this far outside quadrant where he just threw that 1-1 cutter, he's hitting 081 on the season in that regard. So, of course, Perez breaking the catching good grief, breaking the single season home run record for a catcher last year. The pitchers have kind of learned to not throw it in certain locations if they're able to, and that's what Cueto is working away from here, working away from his inner quadrants and trying to get it either high or outside, maybe a mixture of the two. It's 2-1 to him, though. Pitch number 41 from Johnny Cueto. It's going to be grounded over to third base. There to step on the bag is Moncada for the force out, and that will be the inning. But we do have some action here tonight from Kauffman Stadium. Isbell got on with a double earlier in the inning, and with 2 outs, Bobby Witt Jr., a sight for many years to see in Kansas City, driving in a run. So it'll be 1-0 Royals here as we head to the 4th inning from Kauffman Stadium.
All right, I just got the 3rd and final out.
Yeah.
Good to see Johnny Cueto limit the damage, only giving up 1 run. Obviously, this inning could have went much, much worse. But good to see Cueto hold down the 2 other runners in scoring position to try and keep the White Sox still in this ball game.
The things we do for content, right?
But also, speaking of one guy, and obviously the guy who got the 4th out, in Salvador Perez, who really has not been having, he's been having a pretty good season in terms of power and really just beaming the ball, but otherwise he hasn't really been doing much. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's a home run hitter or nothing. But right now, he's not hitting a whole lot. We saw last year he had that phenomenal monstrous season where he kind of came out as a surprise, hitting 48 homers, which was times 2 his highest amount of home runs he's ever hit. And it was really a big, big year for him in 2021. And just the expectations have really not been there for him this year.
where do you think the issues lie? Because I know we mentioned the Royals and the Tigers earlier, who have had rebuilds going on for 5 or 6 years. We've seen teams that were in contending windows rebuild, come back and already be in contending in the contending world of baseball since they've started their retool, which has now turned into a long process rebuild for both teams. What do you think the main issue is for these teams not being able to get their footing back as Andrew Vaughn takes a first pitch strike from Bubic to start the 4th inning?
Well, I think the biggest thing with the Tigers is they were a team that I really had not crazy high ambitions on, but I definitely thought that they were capable of being a 500 team, maybe a team to possibly make a wild card spot. And they were really a disappointment this season, unfortunately. They ended the second half of 2021 in terms of the second half over 500, and then going into this season, expectations were high. They had a pretty similar squad to what they had last year. And then you had Javier Baez on that, a dude who, is a nice veteran presence for that young team. And the Tigers
Austin
just got
Meadows, AJ Pollock they brought in, Akil Baddoo they're trying to capitalize on a sophomore year. None of that's worked out. They have a great young pitching core. Miguel Cabrera is still doing his thing at the age of 39. It's just nothing can go right for them. Comerica Park is where hitters go to die, and the young pitchers have not panned out over a full season, and it's rough. The one thing that's very fishy is AJ Hinch, who was the manager in that Houston Astros cheating scandal, got a second chance at managerial positioning with the Detroit Tigers and has not looked good. It is not a great look for him. I think Dusty Baker is kind of showing that the Astros can win without it, being that they're still chasing a second ring, whether you look at it or not. Moncada with the ground out to Bubic, and there's 2 away in the 4th. AJ Hinch does not look like the greatest face to baseball, being that he's flopped on his face in Detroit. What are your thoughts on that, Hayden? Yo, hold up. Vaughn Grisham just hit a home run. I got the Braves game on my side screen, and the Braves called up Vaughn Grisham, 21 years old, tonight, straight out of Double-A. He's only played 23 games at the Double-A position, or Double-A league, none at Triple-A, and he just hit a 2-run jack off of Darwinzon Hernandez to put the Braves up 5-1 in the 7th. That's just crazy, dude. That's crazy. No way. Oh, I didn't get to see the highlight. I'm going to have to go see that afterwards. 1-1 to Grandal here, top of the 4th inning. See, the things we do for content, Hayden, I just missed out on possibly a future Brave star hitting a home run. His first Major League home run in his first career game. And Fenway Park, nonetheless. And we're here doing a White Sox-Royals game for the people. So I believe we got to treat ourselves right tonight, that's for sure.
But, kind of finishing what I was saying in terms of the Tigers. Like I said, they were going into the season with high expectations, and they just did not follow. They were pretty much a pretty similar team compared to what they were in the second half. Obviously, you brought in Javier Baez, great veteran compared to the younglings on that team. You traded for Austin Meadows, and you really would have hoped that those two guys could have really helped provide more. But unfortunately, this Tigers team really had a slow first start, and they were really tackled with injuries. They were a really young rotation with a lot of hope. Obviously, Casey Mize, the former number 1 round prospect, was hoping to really have a breakout year, but unfortunately had a little rocky start in April. Had some good starts, had some bad starts. Was kind of in the question of developing a 4th pitch. And unfortunately, he was sidelined with Tommy John, so he's going to be out for this and most of this and next season. Obviously, Tariq Skubal is now on the IL. He's really been their only consistent guy. Matt Manning's been out for most of the season. He recently just returned.
Elvin Rodriguez just disappeared.
Elvin Rodriguez hasn't really been having a rookie season that the Tigers fans hope for. Bo Brisky also was good on the IL. So, I mean, right now it just really hasn't been the thing for them. They brought in, Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, and for the few games he's played, he hasn't been good, and I believe he left due to some personal stuff going on. Never really told the team. He left the country. He had some visa issue or something, and no one knew where he went. Yeah. And I believe he is in Double-A or Triple-A, but I believe he got rocked. His most recent appearance there. So we'll see how it goes for them. So, with the Tigers, their bullpen's been great for them this year. They've have one of the best bullpens really in baseball as it seems right now. But unfortunately, their rotation health hasn't been treating them well, and their hitters really just haven't really been able to hit on all cylinders. But when you look at their bullpen, it's not horrible. Will Vest, Gregory Soto, Andrew Chafin, Kyle Funkhauser, they were kind of questionable on turning him into a starter, but decided to put him in a bullpen role, kind of like the Brewers' goal of transitioning a reliever into a starter. The Brewers obviously took Brandon Woodruff and worked him up in the bullpen and then released him into the rotation when they thought he was ready. So Tigers tried that with Funkhauser. Kind of didn't really work, but we'll see. So
another
Tigers team that had the expectations, just were not able to execute. I've always said that I felt the Tigers were a second half team, and offensively they look much better, but they just so many more pieces that need to be simply enough addressed. But this team just cannot hit with runners in scoring position. I think that's been the biggest killer to them.
And shout out to the 7 people in chat here, middle of the 4th inning between the White Sox and the Royals. Another young pitcher, another former first-round pick that you didn't mention there was the Florida Gator, Alex Faedo, another guy who, they had to delay his rookie season in the minors with the Tigers, being that he won the College World Series with Florida a number of years ago, and that's another guy that just hasn't worked out. And they've had a couple of different managers in there in that spot the last couple of seasons trying to figure out the right guy for that team long term, and it's just very ironic how them and their division rival Royals, they can't put it together. And I feel bad for each of those fan bases. Now the thing is, Kansas City does have the Chiefs to watch during the fall and the winter months. What has Detroit got going on for them in the sports market right now? I feel like they might be the worst sports market in America right now. The Pistons have been rebuilding for years. Now, they have some of the best prospects they've had in a long time. Still are going to be 11-12 seed in the Eastern Conference this year. The Lions have maybe the best team they've had the last 4 or 5 years, but they still might be a 5 or 6 win team this year. The Red Wings, I don't know a lot about hockey, but from what I hear, are definitely the worst team in the Eastern Conference almost every year. And then you get to the Tigers, the worst hitting park in baseball, a lot of failed first-round prospects, a bad managerial spot right now, the former Houston Astro manager from the 2017 sign stealing scandal. And they paid Miggy a crap ton of money to never win a World Series, and it's not worked out for them. The roar has not been very loud from the Lions or the Tigers in Detroit the last couple of years from Ford Field and Comerica Park. It's 2-1 to Vinny say the name again for me. Pasquantino?
That is correct. And one little thing to add on to your thing is, who knows? Tigers may be going on a different route now. Obviously, they fired their long-term GM and Alex Avila, who was their general manager for 7 years. Obviously, he was known for a lot of silly decisions. Obviously, one of those sending Justin Verlander away, definitely a move that many Tigers fans really do regret, and even not re-signing him this past offseason when they had the opportunity. So he's fired. They will have an interim GM for the rest of the season, and we'll see. Maybe in this offseason they'll approach someone. They got a really good coaching staff. Obviously you have AJ Hinch as the manager. You'll get a new GM, so you can try and work with a good front office there, hopefully.
Leadoff single there from Vinny. My thing that with the Tigers is that their last GM wasn't great either. He's with the Phillies now, I believe, right?
Dombrowski, yeah, and he also was a guy.
A lot of money for them not to win.
Sends all the prospects away, exactly.
How many? And Detroit's not a big market team. They played like it there for the many years with Prince Fielder and Verlander, Scherzer. Cabrera was in his prime. There's others that were. Justin Upton, I believe, was on that team for a couple years too. So they had a core for about 4 or 5 seasons. They couldn't get it done. They couldn't get past Boston most years. They couldn't get past the Yankees a lot of years. The one year they went to the World Series and they ran into Mad Bum and Pablo Sandoval's Giants, and the rest is history. Back-to-back singles here to start the 4th inning from Pasquantino and Hunter Dozier. So Nick Pratto up with a chance to give the Royals some padding here on their 1-0 lead.
But yeah, I mean, AL Central is just going to be something to keep an eye out for. I mean, takes
Hey,
one or two guys to really carry the team.
At least there's a race now. I mean, it's not the most competitive race in the world looking around the rest of the league, but at least there's a competition in the month of August to see who's going to win that division. Because for the last 5 or 6 years, last year we knew the White Sox more than likely had it. The years past, the Twins and the Indians, one of them was way ahead of the other and the rest of the pack by this time of year. So it's glad to see. And before that, the Tigers and the Royals were good when nobody else was. So
Yeah.
it's very good to see that this division finally has competition, while it is teams that are 5 games over 500 and in between. At least there's some baseball that you might be willing to turn into for the MLB TV and MLB 66 watchers here throughout the fall months of Major League play. 1-0, almost on the way from Cueto. 50th pitch of the night. That's going to be ripped down the right field line, just foul. Maybe would have scored Vinny Pasquantino if the ball touched in fair territory. Cueto with a 27-pitch third inning, now already 9 here without a man retired here. If he want to keep that ERA right where they were talking about, he's got to have a shut that inning right here. Because of right now, you've given up 1 earned run in 3 innings. That's as of right now. If Johnny Cueto finished the night here, he'd have a 3 earned run average on the night, and that would inflate a 2.91 ERA mathematically. So, Math Pod here on the Long Ball Podcast here on Hardcore Sports Network. 1-1, Prado getting back to the box. Cueto awaiting his return, getting his signs from Grenzal, the pitch comm. Pasquantino with a big lead from second base. Here's the 1-1. That's going to be dribbled out towards the first base side and foul. Abreu could not pick it up in fair territory. Maybe decided not to, being that they would have second and third, 1 out. They'll take a foul ball strike. And it's now 1-2 to Nick Prado. It seems like the Royals have a lot of the white guys in the Royals, at least have a very similar look. If you're realizing that too, Hayden. They got the bow flow haircut about 3 inches too long with clean shaved faces.
Bo Bichette style hair, yeah.
Yeah, but a little bit too long where it's just a messy mop. It's not really the flow. So Prado's got it. Witt's got it. Nicky Lopez is a little bit of that going on as well. So interesting to see. Wonder if it's they're trying to go with the Yankee style, no beard, only scruff or mustache, but non-simultaneous. And maybe that's the thing with the Royals. If you're your average white guy, you got to have clean shaven beard with a messy mop. This is what bad baseball does to us. We go into wormholes. 2-2 now. White Sox, of course, stranded the bases loaded in the top of the third inning, a chance to break through. They couldn't. The Royals did in the bottom half, and here threatening again with runners on first and second and nobody out here. Prado awaiting Cueto's 53rd pitch. A 2-2 is going to be outside at 87 miles an hour, and it's loaded up. People on. So this is a big pitch from Cueto. You don't want to load the bases, but you also don't want to give the lefty a good enough pitch to be able to drive. I'm surprised we have not seen a mound visit here from either the White Sox pitching coach or Grandal tonight. It's just been a lot of, you're 36 years old, you've been there, done that, you've beat this team many times and been a part of this team many times in your career, you can figure it out. And I don't know how much that sink or swim mentality is going to pair, because the Royals are one big hit away from blowing this game open, and we talked about this earlier, Hayden, how desperately the White Sox need this game as that 3-2 is fouled off the screen. I'm sure you're glad that the Mets are not on right now, because I know you'd much rather be watching them, but they wrapped up their business with the Reds earlier today.
Yeah, they got the brooms out, so that's always enjoyable to see, very exciting. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the AL Central is, I don't know. I feel like the last couple of years, the AL Central has really just been determined by 1 or 2 teams. In the past,
3-2 out towards right field, going over to make the play is Sheets tagging and going to third as Pasquantino is in safely. Dozier remains at first, one away. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's, really been, determined by, obviously, the Guardians and the Twins for the most part. Now we have the White Sox kind of on the rise, so you'd hope that gets some more competition, but just really hasn't been there for both of these teams.
So I pop back onto the screen that you guys see on the screen, the game center that we got going on. And while you're in that little tidbit, I pop back over to the Braves game cast I got on the MLB.com site. Saw they're up 5-1 last time I get over there. I come back and I see that Tommy Pham hits a 3-run jack and they're only up a run. I'm like, good grief. So here's Massey. Nothing's ever easy here for the Braves recently, and Hayden can accustom to that. They're only up a run here in the 7th inning. This game, though, it's 1-0 here in the 4th inning. 57th pitch soon to be thrown from Cueto. I don't know how we're going to make it throughout tonight's game, do you?
We'll see. Hopefully.
We'll make it, but it'll be rough.
Yeah, maybe we will see some, walk-offs or grand salami, some acrobatic plays. But things are getting a little dicey now, obviously. Johnny Cueto, his last inning, gave up 1 run, was able to get out of jam, stranding 2 runners on base, and he's kind of almost in that same predicament, has 2 runners on, got a deep fly out from Prada, and we'll see what Maisley could do.
Ball on the ground in the shift, and they get out of the inning.
That's good to know.
In the shift, it was Sosa kind of fielding it directly behind the bag, stepped on the bag, and threw it over to Brave to complete a 6-3 double play, and that does it for the 4th inning. So, speaking of action, we get none of it. 5th inning, it's 1-0 Royals.
Taking a dive around the majors, the Red Sox are making this Braves-Red Sox game a little interesting.
Mm-hmm. I just spoke on that. They just hit Tommy Pham just hit a 3-run jack. Like, really? Dylan Lee is really getting roughed up the last couple of weeks. He's
Mets got him a little, I think, right? I got him a little bit.
Yeah, you guys did. Diamondbacks got him for a run or two. So it's just like, dude, he's had a great year. He took Will Smith's role as that lefty. With, of course, Matzek also being injured. He's had a great year. He started a World Series-like game last year. Loaded the bases. Kyle Wright came in and turned his whole career around that night, saving the Braves behinds and winning that game. But he's had a great sophomore year going to the pen, and his ERA just inflated from 1.8 to 2.5 off that 3-run jack, and we still got to get through Alexander Bogaerts here to end the inning. But actually, it looks like the Braves are going to Kirby Yates, who just got called up today. See, I wish I was watching this game right now. I missed Grisham's first major league hit and homer, and now I'm missing Kirby Yates' major league debut. I talked to you about it off camera before the stream. My side monitor, which I got next to the game I'm watching the Fox Sports telecast off of, decides not to want to work tonight, so I'm not able to watch the Braves game, and that's where we stand right now. So sure, and yeah, we'll let you know, RJ. We kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier. Do you want to maybe this next half inning, Hayden, we can go back over this whole topic again?
Yeah, you want me to go over it now, or is the inning getting started?
Inning's getting started, so we'll Pimper 27. Stick with us through this half inning, and we'll recap everything once again. Is Lorenzo Sosa, first pitch off of Bubic, and that is curling just foul for a loud strike 1. But yeah, well, we've kind of hinted at that throughout the night, a lot of different things, but we'll recap it once again in the middle of this inning for you, Pimper. So don't go anywhere, because as a Braves fan, I see a lot of similarities in your team this year and ours last year. And, of course, you know where we ended up last season. So you guys are still in it, that's for sure. 0-2 to Sosa. Bubic working in his 5th inning of action. believe he had an ERA close to 5 coming into tonight, and as of right now, he's in prime position to get that way down. 4 innings of scoreless ball and quickly ahead 0-2 on Sosa. Here it is, way high. Salvi caught it about the same height as the umpire's face mask. And it's 1-2. It's 9-1-2 due up for the White Sox here this inning. Sosa, Josh Harrison, and Robert. 1-2 fouled and caught by Salvador Perez for Bubic's 6th strikeout. There's 1 away. So that'll bring up Josh Harrison, which just taking and fouling off a pitch this inning, or this at bat, would do a lot better than his first 2 appearances tonight, being he's seen 6 pitches, all called strikes, and he's been set down twice. I mean, how bad? I mean, can't do any worse than that. We'll see what he does here. 59th pitch away from Chris. And that pitch is going to be lined out towards right center field. Coming over to make the play is Hunter Dozier. And there's quickly 2 away. Oh, it's a tough break. Harrison tapping his chest saying, hey, I got a good piece of that one. But unfortunately, right to the defense. And there's 2 down here for Chris Bubic. Braves get out of the inning. Kirby Yates shutting down Bogarts. And we're going to the 8th in Fenway. Here is Luis Robert, one of my favorite young players in baseball. 60th pitch of the night. Taken for a strike. Or not. It says 1-0 in the Fox telecast. I could have swore that was in the zone, but who knows? Maybe the people in the truck have kind of fallen asleep to this game too. 1-0. Fouled back off the screen. It's 1-1 now. Yeah, they're showing a replay on the first pitch. Hayden, you'll probably see it as well. The first pitch of the sequence, I clearly thought was a called strike, not done so, and the Fox truck was able to make the right call. 1-1, down the line it goes, and that ball's going to be off the wall. Robert hustling into second, standing up for a double. That's a unique quirk of Kauffman Stadium. Those foul line seats kind of arch in, and it's hard to get the ball up and over. Kind of pesky pole-like, and he hit it right down the line. Dozier was over there to make the play off the wall, and there's the runner on second. Hayden, how you hanging in there?
Yeah, I have yet to see the double.
Yeah, you're looking like Tony La Russa, getting a little sleepy on us. Which I understand. I would be too. Middle of this inning, we'll recap, of course, once again, the problems the White Sox have had this season, and maybe after the 5th inning, we can give a roundtable for the scores around the majors, kind of like we did a couple innings ago, because action has changed since then.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, that probably is a Fenway comparison.
The foul pole curve is just not very straight on. It's like cookie cutter where it curls. So it's kind of hard to hit the ball up and over it when you got to almost hit it with the wind, it seems, the way it's blowing tonight. So after a good start to the inning for Chris Bubic, it's a runner at second here at 2 away. He's up 0-1 on Eloy Jimenez, who's 0 for 2. A look back to Robert. Now back to Salvi, and here's the 0-1. Down and low. Or even 0-1. Again, middle of the inning, we'll give a full breakdown on what I think all of our opinions on why the White Sox have been debatably the most disappointing team in the majors this year. And stay tuned for that. I know Pimper's probably awaiting for our reaction.
Should be shortly with 2 outs, 1-1 count here. To Eloy Jimenez, from what it seems, these teams are not executing with runners in scoring position. White Sox stranded 5 on base, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And the Royals have had more unfortunateness, 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, left 3 on base. Hope for some, I guess you can say, clutch hitting from Eloy Jimenez. 2-2 count, 2 outs.
2-1. Fouled back off the screen. So they're showing the AL Central standings here. Cleveland and Minnesota locked up at the top spot at 57 and 52. The White Sox right back, 56 and 54 as of right now, 1.5 back. So a win tonight puts 3 teams all within 1 game of first place. And they showed the Royals 13 back, Tigers almost 20 back. So a quiet year for both those clubs once again. But 3 teams are still in the hunt in the month of August. That ball is grounded over to the shortstop. Vinny Pasquantino throws it on to first base, and that will retire the side. We're halfway home from Kauffman Stadium. Bubic is pitching a shutout here. It's 1-0 Royals halfway home. All right, Pimper, I know you waited for this. So Hayden and I have kind of hinted at it throughout different parts of the night, but I'll let you give your full breakdown, and I'll add on to whatever I think you missed or whatever else I want to add on of why you think the White Sox have been such a disappointment this year.
Yeah, I mean, White Sox really just have not seemed to have it. And I think, pretty much the biggest thing is health. We saw with the Yankees in 2020. We saw with the Mets last year. You see it with the 2022 White Sox. I mean, this White Sox team just has not been able to stay healthy at all. I mean, just recently, Tim Anderson, who is a big asset to this team, gets sidelined. Tim Anderson is going to be spending some time on the IL. 4 to 6 weeks, I assumed, is what they said for. I think it was surgery on, I think it was his left middle finger. So, I mean, little stuff like that. The injuries have been a big kill to this White Sox team. Even in the rotation, has really killed them due to injury. I mean, let's pull up this White Sox roster so I can really see like what it looks like fully in depth. But the injuries, I think it's just flat out to say the injuries has been the biggest killer for the Chicago team. Let's take a look-see at this roster. I kind of want to see like the roster prior like to the season starting, because that could give everyone more inclusive information. I can't find it, but that's all right. Whatever. Well, yeah, now you got 3 guys, obviously Tim Anderson and Guerrero Crochet. Not much to say from Crochet, but Tim Anderson is a big guy to lose. Obviously, Jose Abreu, I believe, spent some time on the IL. I think Yoan Moncada was also on the IL for a little bit. So, I mean, when you're seeing, your big-time players on the IL, for a month, for 2 months, even when you miss them for 2 months, when they come back, they still have to try and wiggle in and find their spot. And I get it. There's rehab starts for that, but the major league level, it's a really hard thing. So, I mean, the position players getting injured, and even your regular pitching staff has been hard. Liam Hendriks has kind of been having a rough year. The barrels and the hard contact was really killing him in the first half. He's starting to control it. He's changing and fixing up his repertoire a little much, but killed him a lot in the first half, and he blew plenty of games. There was that iconic game against Cleveland where the dude gave up runs and a grand slam to Josh Naylor. So, I mean, little stuff like that.
And then he hit a 3-run homer to take the lead.
Yeah, and, I mean, obviously you're not getting good years from Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito. I mean, really, the 2 guys that are carrying this team is Dylan Cease and Johnny Cueto. So, I mean, Pimper, 27, the biggest thing to say is injuries. Your offense really not carrying. We're not seeing this offense very clutch. We're not seeing this offense hit well with runners in scoring position. Yeah, Eloy Jimenez has been out for, I think, pretty much the whole season.
Seems like everybody's been out, though.
Like I said, simple way to put it. Poor offense, poor defense, and injuries. I mean, the pitching can only do so much. I mean, it's kind of comparable with the Blue Jays last year. The Blue Jays didn't have a whole lot of pitching, but the offense did the job. We're not seeing that much this year. So we'll see how things will get started. But simple enough, lack of pitching, injuries, and poor offense. And we'll see as Johnny Cueto starts the bottom of the 5th inning.
And a full count.
the Royals 8-9 and 1 hitter. Hoping for a quick inning here. Cueto's having a pretty good start, just unfortunately not getting much run support.
Yeah, not at all. I think his ERA has, as of right now, is higher than it was at the start of the game. They were talking about he's chasing that 3 ERA mark here at the age of 36. I'll add on to it, Pimper, a little bit of a different approach is that they are under 500 at home. Like, you see teams that struggle throughout the year, around 500, they can't get over the mark, get on track of where they want to be, is because they at least are winning the home games and they're handling business there. The White Sox are 4 games under 500 and the south side of Chicago. They, it seems like, have not been able to win in extra innings. It seems like they're in some sort of crapshoot in them every week or so. And I don't know if that really falls back to Tony La Russa's modern-day management not being what it was. Again, it sucks to say earlier because the White Sox owner doesn't want to fire La Russa a second time after making that first mistake many years ago. And even with how poor he's been, he's probably got one of the safest jobs in baseball. And I'm sure you could probably agree to that, Hayden. Another thing is, as you said, people have been hurt, but when they've been healthy, they've just not been themselves. Grandal underperforming this year. Mancada underperforming this year. That Josh Harrison signing we talked about earlier was supposed to be a nice little sneaky signing for them, a 3-2 punch out there from Cueto to start the inning off of Isbell. Has not been a great look for Josh Harrison. I mean, he's had a terrible night tonight. Started off the game with 6 straight looking strikes. And then the line out his third time up. Nothing has gone their way. They traded away a couple of young pieces, They traded away Madrigal and Hewer in that Craig Kimbrell trade. It did not work out. They traded for A.J. Pollock, and we have not said his name more than once tonight. And while Craig Kimbrell's not been the greatest out in California either, the trade's been a wash. They ran some of their other young guys like Urminator out of town last year, and he's now found a home with the Giants backing up Joey Bart, Nicky Lopez flying out to Sheets. And there's 2 away in the 5th inning, Cueto at the 67 pitch mark.
Even their deadline, I mean, you look at their trade deadline, they did not do anything. This was a team that was at 500 on August 2nd. Simply enough, you could have went out there. I get it. The White Sox don't have the best farm system, but there's bench pieces you could trade away. There's a couple mid-end prospects you could easily trade away for a starting pitcher. And I get it.
Which I didn't even get to the pitching yet. That's true.
Starting pitching asking price was through the roofs this season. I mean, we saw what the Mariners had to give up for Luis Castillo. So I can only imagine why the White Sox didn't go after starting pitching. They would have had to given up so much, but you could have even gone after a bat, a guy that is what?
I said, I will say this. When they got Lance Lynn in the 2020 offseason, they got him for a good asking price. I know the Rangers held on to him throughout that season. Remember, they were supposed to have Kluber, Mike Minor, and Lance Lynn and everybody, and Kyle Gibson, and everybody be scared of the rest of that rotation in the AL West, which of course didn't come to fruition. That was just words on a chalkboard. I feel like they got him at an okay asking price. They gave the Rangers a couple of young guys who have turned out to be okay pieces, but I feel like they're not top of their farm system. RJ, if you're still in the chat, you can tell us if we're right or wrong on that. And of course, Dane Dunning is not the youngest guy in the world that they gave up in that flip-flop trade. MJ Melendez there to ground out. So 1-2-3 inning from Cueto. It just seems like, I mean, not only is the things that they've done not fully worked out in their favor, it seems like they just can't do anything right when they have the opportunity to. I mean, they came out of the gate. They had a pretty easy month of April, right? And they couldn't win ball games. They hit the summer months. They hit a little bit of a stride, but the Twins and the Guardians had built a lead on them. And they finally get over 500 for the first time at Coors Field a couple nights ago, a couple weeks ago. The night after, Liam Hendricks came in, faced 4 batters, and the Rockies walked it off. So it's just the little things that Kendall Graveman, I don't know if he's had the greatest year in that bullpen. I mean, you think about how strong that Rockies White Sox bullpen was supposed to be going into 2020 and 21. It's not been the same. It's been a lot more veterans that have been put back there, eating up innings by La Russa's inabilities at his age. And I'm a big believer in the White Sox long term. As a Braves fan, a couple of years ago, I said, this is before the Braves went on to win the World Series. A couple of years ago, I said what the White Sox are building reminds me a lot of what the Braves are building. They get a couple pieces. They sign the catcher. They sign a couple veteran reliever arms. They bring in that veteran starter like a not to say Charlie Morton and Dallas Keuchel were comparable, but you get where I'm going. And they built through the core. Anderson was their prospect. Moncada was a prospect. Abreu was a longtime prospect of theirs, kind of like Freddie Freeman was with the Braves. And I think you're kind of seeing my connection there too, Hayden. So like, I like what the White Sox are doing long term, but just seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I hope if he's still listening, I hope they do good. I feel like they're one of the more fun teams in baseball. I want the AL Central to be competitive. I know he's probably doesn't agree with that, but I just want more good teams in baseball. And I think this playoff format is doing that, at least for now. But we could go on and on about it. It's just that they can't do anything right, it seems. And I feel bad for them, that's for sure. They're still right there. They can still get in and make a run. That's all you got to do is make the playoffs. And they're like 2.5 out of the wild card. And if they win tonight, a game out of the division. So they're right there.
That's one thing I really don't understand is why they didn't go at it at the deadline. I mean, this was a team that was capable of making a move at the deadline, a big bat. And as a Mets fan, I've always said, 2015, we brought in Cespedes. We brought in, a couple bats who weren't really well-known guys, but got the job done in Juan Uribe and Kelly Johnson. Little stuff like that
from us.
that the White Sox should have done. This is an offense who's not scoring a lot of runs right now. They needed to find some type of remedy to go out there and fix their needs. Whether that was bullpen, whether that was a big power bat, whether that was a table setter in this lineup, Tim Anderson, because Tim Anderson's going to be out for 6 to 4 weeks. Do you want Josh Harrison as your leadoff hitter? You tell me.
Clearly they don't.
I mean, I get it.
Tim Anderson has been the only healthy guy all year, and as soon as everybody else gets healthy, he gets hurt. It's just how the cookie crumbles.
He's been really the only consistent guy for the most part for them. I mean, I get it. It's a division rival. Could you have went after Whit Merrifield? I mean, I don't know how division rivals in the Central are trading with each other. I mean, we've seen division rivals trade. And that's obviously a base hit to get things started in this inning. But
like I said, the order here.
White Sox, like I said, they're right there. They really are. They're a team that's right there. And they just, like you said, shoot themselves in the foot. They don't address the needs they need to.
And Pimper, if you're still on the chat, let us know how you like that breakdown. How does that sum up things for you? Braves are up 7-4 in the 8th. I'd love to see it. Got those 2 of those runs back. It's 2-1 here. Go ahead.
Last and final thing I want to say is what I don't understand is you think teams would want to be more competitive at the deadline this year because you have that extra playoff spot. And that's why MLB implemented the extra playoff in the AL and the NL to make teams more competitive at the deadline and to make teams play more competitively and not to just give up and say, oh, damn it, we're exactly 500 and there's, 2 wild card teams have 10, 15 more wins.
Shallow fly out to left, 1 on, and Abreu will go back to first, 1 away.
But yeah, I mean,
you can keep going. I'm listening.
No, it's just unfortunate. Teams decide to take the route of just choking it away. I mean, I would hate the White Sox to, and I don't think they will. But I mean, we've seen teams like the Reds who were literally there. I mean, this is a team that won 80+ wins last year and just decided to sell out. Obviously, I don't think the White Sox will do that, but
just the year before, they had one of the better rotations in baseball with an offense that was bound to do better that next year. You look at that 2020 Reds rotation with, of course, Bauer, Castillo, Sonny Gray. That was a good team. That offense, they still had some legs under guys like Aquino, Nick Senzel, Moustakas, Votto, and that offense was going to improve the next year. Winker, Suarez. That team gave the Braves all the run for their money in the wild card that year. Everybody thought that they would bounce back, which they did. That offense came back to life. The pitching, even though they lost Bauer, Sonny Gray and Castillo held it down. But as you said, they just randomly sold out after the lockout and some at the deadline last year. And here they are, and making the NL Central now looking like the weakest division for the next couple of years in baseball. Kris Bubic, man, I wanna count this out. He's had a great game so far. 75 pitches, coming up on pitch 76. It's righty lefty here to Moncada. I believe Moncada's a switch hitter there, so either way, it's going to be from the opposite side. If he gets a ground ball double play here, I think they probably think about sending him out for the 7th inning. Under 80 pitches, bottom third of the lineup would be due up. So it remains to be seen.
And he's been looking pretty good. keeping the ball on the ground. Change-ups looking nice. No major complaints from
7 punchies as well. You'll never complain about that. 77th pitch on the way. 2-1. Inside over near his hands. Almost hit him. 3-1 to Moncada. We talked about him earlier as well. You know, he's had a piss poor year, to say the least. Since you said damn it, I'll use one of my own and say piss poor. And as you said, if he has a good month of September to make his stat page look a little bit better, that's all that matters. You're going to have one good month of the year, make it be September, October. And I just think if the White Sox get into the postseason, they're still going to be a scary team because I trust the guys that have not been there this year, but have been there in the past to get it done, if that makes sense.
And that's one interesting thing that I do kind of worry about with the White Sox in the postseason is they don't really have much experience. I mean, we saw how they faced up against the Astros last year, and I mean, they were a rookie postseason team going against a veteran postseason team.
Yeah.
So, like I said, maybe at the deadline they could have went after a nice veteran bat, but
and of course, AJ Pollock and Lurie Garcia's injury don't help that offense. Anderson, of course, the depth has just not been there. They traded away their backup catcher too, right? Forget his name, the younger guy that came up after the Yerminator had his issues last year. So, I mean, they traded away another bat in return because, what did the White Sox do at the deadline? I think they made some transaction, but I forget exactly what it was. Maybe we can.
I think it was Reese McGuire.
That's what it was. Yeah, they traded away Reese McGuire, but who did they get back for him? I think it was some bullpen guy, right? But I don't remember. Oh,
yes, yeah. If you guys want to know a story, so he was with the Toronto Blue Jays at the time that happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I live in Florida, so I go to plenty of Marlins games. And last year I went to a Blue Jays at Marlins game.
Was it in Dunedin or was it in Miami?
I was in Miami.
The Blue Jays were in Florida there for a little bit last year.
Yeah, so I was in Miami, and I'm sitting, with a couple other Marlins fans, and I had my Blue Jays gear on. He comes up to a ton of kids, tosses me a ball, and I don't know who he was because he wasn't in his uniform, or I had no idea. I'm guessing he wasn't catching that day, and I had no idea who he was. So he later comes back and he starts signing, and he signed, and it said Reese McGuire. And I gave him, and I knew about the situation, and I gave him the most weirdest look of being uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, this is interesting. Yeah, it's funny.
So you knew about the story that's mentioned in the chat right now at the time?
Oh, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, he was arrested for
having fun at a time that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Parking lot. So there was another altercation with his too, right? There's another story that I'm forgetting. Maybe if RJ in the chat will talk about it. Well, we're not going to say it on air, but for the viewers that are on the Twitch side, you can see what he's talking about.
PG-13 stuff.
Yeah. It's 1-2 to Grandal here as we get back to action. Moncada, of course, forced the walk. Now 2-2. Grandal 1-for-1. Of course, he walked that the first time up. AJ Minter in for the Braves, walking. First guy he sees, that's great. Maybe at the end of this inning, you can give us a recap of the rest of the games around the league if you want.
All right.
So, 84th pitch from Bubic here. Pitch count starting to climb there at 84. Low and away, it's 3-2. I know every White Sox fan at home knows how crucial all these games are with teams like Detroit and Kansas City, knowing that they got to score at least one to win, and right now they're not there. But Grandal can put a drive to 1. It's probably going to play it at least 2 if it gets over the wall. Of course, 3, and the White Sox will have the lead either way. 3-2 pitch. Swung on out towards right field for a base hit that's going to drop in front of Hunter Dozier. And they're going to hold Abreu up at third base. So the White Sox, for the second time tonight, playing station to station, the first time being the third inning. Bubic was able to pitch out of it, but we'll see what ends up happening here. I'm trying to see who's due up. Because if it's a lefty, they might
the
decide to
Philadelphia Phillies just cannot lose.
I know, it's pissing me off. Maybe you guys will knock them around this weekend though. So that's all.
Be better.
I mean, if they don't, it's a win-win for the Braves either way. Either they get closer to the Mets, or they create separation from the Phillies if we handle business in Miami this weekend. So,
Well, it pretty much means if you're okay making a wild card spot.
I just want, I want to get away from Philly, because, I mean, I look at it this way: if we can get it under 7 games, which right now, if we lose tonight, this game isn't over, it'll be 8. I feel like the only way the Braves still have a shot in this division, being that there is 50 and some games to play still, is it's going to have to be under 6 games coming back to Atlanta Monday, and we're going to have to win that series.
The issue is the Phillies are playing like the easiest teams. I mean, besides the Mets, they're playing the Reds, they're playing the Pirates, they're playing the Diamondbacks, they're playing the Marlins, they're playing.
That's where the teams get their records, though. You know, the good teams play 500 ball versus the good teams. The Braves just under that mark, you guys just over that mark, and they take care of their pumpkins and their cupcakes in between, and that's where they get the record to where they want to be.
I mean, pretty much they're only playing us, the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Braves, and Astros are the only teams that they're playing for the rest of the season that are over 500. So that's what, 4 teams out of 50 games. So,
and it depends on. I mean, they play really well at home. So if they get a team like Houston in Citizens Bank Park for a couple games, I might have a shot. Gavin Sheets, though, with also a shot over to second base. It gets by him. 2 runs are going to score. The throw back into first base, diving back in is Gavin Sheets, and the White Sox take the lead.
Let's go, White Sox.
Massey was a mere hair away from an inning-ending double play. Bubic can't believe it. The ball just trickled off his glove. It was lined too hard. Maybe that's a play where a contending team might make it, but you know the young guy. I don't know how old he is. I'm going to assume he's probably a 21, 22-year-old filler for the Royals trying to find his way in the majors. You know, he's hating that play right now because that ball was smoked, but if it stays in the leather, there's probably an inning-ending double play. At worst, it's 1-1. It gets by him. 2 runs are going to score, and that keeps the lineup moving for Sosa, who just about homered in foul territory his last time up. Hit it right over to where Jimenez hit his. Favorite baseball movie? Ooh, that's an interesting topic. Maybe we can get into during a middle inning. I got to think about that.
I got mine.
Do you want to go ahead and share it? Is it 0-2 to Sosa? Or if you want to wait, if you can too.
Mine is probably the only good baseball movie made in the 21st century, Moneyball.
Okay. Respect that one. I mean, I love baseball movies. I'm not a huge movie watcher anyway, so I'm not like, ooh, this movie. But
yeah.
I mean, of course, I love The Sandlot. I've never seen Field of Dreams. I wanted to go see it last year, but I've never seen the movie Field of Dreams. I know the storyline. I kind of know the ending, and I know the history behind it. I've never seen Field of Dreams. I like Bad News Bears. I like The Rookie. You know, the one with the kid that ended up playing for the Cubs.
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. I think the weird thing is in that movie he played the Mets in the World Series, which that made no sense to me.
They always do that. I don't know why.
And they had the mean kid or the mean hitter with the Mets. Who else? I love 42. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I love that movie. That was another good movie and that made in the 21st century that you missed on. That was a great.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Like I will say, like besides 42, Moneyball.
I mean, sports movies aren't popping like they used to be. Million Dollar Arm was okay. That was an okay
I heard
movie.
that was garbage. One of my friends saw that, and he said it was horrible, my friend.
It was all right. I saw it. Coming on is Dozier, back to third goes Grandal. So Sosa flying out to right, but not deep enough to score the aging catcher. And it's going to take a 2-out knock to be able to get this third run in for the 6th. We'll update the scorebook here mid-inning.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is besides 42 and Moneyball, there hasn't really been many great movies in the 21st century. All the good movies came out in the 90s. I mean, whether it was The Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, Little Big League, The Rookie, all like the dominant baseball movies came out in the 90s. Yeah. I mean, Bad News Bears, 80s. I think I was all in the 70s too. 90s was like the best time for baseball. I mean,
I feel like 2 good reasons for that was this. A, baseball was at a peak point in the 90s with the home run race and the NFL and the NBA. The NFL's always been there, but I feel like the NBA was a Jordan-led league at the time, and the MLB had great teams throughout the league that were able to win at any point. So baseball was debatably the second best sport behind the NFL in America at the time. But also, the further along you get in history, there's not so many new creative movies you can do to where you have movies like $1 Million Arm, which might take a little bit more effort. The storyline might make it a little bit more complex, and they just end up not being as good as the classics. So, I mean, there's only so much you can make. Now they're already starting to make Sandlot remasters and A League of Their Own remastered. So, you know, it's kind of how it is. I mean, it's like that with football and basketball, too. There's only so many Coach Carters and Remember the Titans and, you know.
Good movie.
All those you can have without recreating.
$1 Million Arm is when it's about this like failed it's like a failed coach, and he pretty much has to go. I think it's to India to find this guy who's supposed to be really good.
And they found two of them.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I've seen the trailer and it looked really good, but my friend literally told me do not even see it. And I was just like, okay, and I just never really bothered.
I saw it when I was like 10 or 11, so I think I was like, oh, baseball movie fun, and they filmed some of it in Atlanta, so maybe I immediately just thought it was cool. But yeah.
You know what I actually like, and I mean, maybe you can call me a little biased because I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, but that's Trouble with the Curve. I didn't think that was a horrible
yes, movie. I was going to mention that one. I don't know if you knew it, though. Trouble with
the Curve, yeah, great. I mean, Clint Eastwood, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan.
Very simple dialogue, though. It was very simple.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought that was a decent movie. Like, I don't think that was Moneyball, but I mean, I would watch it again. Like, I would show it to someone.
I feel like baseball was on the back burner of that movie, though, if that makes sense. Josh Harrison with a foul ball. It's 2-2, 98 pitch upcoming for Bubic. 2-1 White Sox, top six.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mixture of, like a baseball and then a romance movie at the same time.
Yeah, and the dad having the car crash middle of the movie, I believe it was. He was having like some sort of vision issue.
Yeah, he had Alzheimer's, I think.
Yeah. So his daughter, who knew a lot about his industry, was able to kind of step in and help him with the scouting those two guys, the pitcher and then the slugger who had trouble with the curve.
Couldn't hit the curveball.
3-2 now to Harrison. Harrison just looking to get on base. We've knocked this guy around a little bit tonight. With his first two at bats being the 6 called strikes for 2 strikeouts, and then the line out to Dozier his last time up. Bubic with his 99th pitch, trying to retire him for the 4th time. 3-2 pitches on the hole or in and through the hole for a base hit. Grandal coming around to score, going to second. As the White Sox, it's 3-1, and that's going to be it for Kris Bubic. He's not going to get a quality start tonight. 5 2/3 scoreless he went. But the White Sox coming back with 3 in the 6th inning. And that looks like it's going to be all from Kris Bubic tonight, who the young guy has had a rough MLB career, has shown flashes, and flashes he showed as well tonight. It's going to be all from him. Call to the bullpen here. Middle of the 6th inning, 2 on, 2 out, and it's now a 3-1 Chicago White Sox lead. Offense finally showed up, but now can Cueto and the bullpen shut them down is the question.
Yeah, Bubic had a pretty decent start to start off. I mean, he was keeping the ball on the ground. Changeup was looking intact. I mean, I think he had, 6, 7 punch-outs. He didn't look horrible, but unfortunately did get a little roughed up in
got a little tired at the end
of the 6th inning, got a little roughed up and just was not able to get out of it. So the Royals will be going to their bullpen to Wyatt Mills to try and keep them in a 2-run ball game, 3 to get the lead. So we will see.
Braves got out of the 8th inning. AJ Minter had a leadoff walk, then struck out the next 3 he saw. I love it. Mm-hmm. That's another guy you guys roughed up this weekend. You guys just flat out kicked our ASS. So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. With the division, the only way the Braves can come back and win this division at this point, being that we still have, I think, 7 matchups, but that second to last series, one of us is probably already clinched at this point in time, is right now at 7.5 games. If the Braves can play one more good inning of baseball, it's back to 7. I think it's got to be under 6 games come Monday afternoon for a 4-game series in Atlanta, which maybe it could be if the Braves somehow win 3 of 4 this weekend and you guys just have a bad weekend versus Philly or something along those lines. It could maybe be because I think that it's got to be 5 games at max going into this weekend, and then the Braves got to win the series. I think they can't split. You guys can't sweep or take 3 of 4. Like Atlanta's going to have to win probably realistically 3 of 4 games and have the series, have the lead be under 6 games, because even at that point, we're still down 4.5, 4 games at that point in time. And you guys still have some breathing room because we were on your guys' tail for a couple months and you guys probably got used to that 4 or 5 game lead where it felt like it was safe. And I just think that's the only chance we have a fighting shot at this point in time is we gotta punch you guys in the mouth next week, which we haven't all year. But we also gotta handle our business this weekend and have you guys struggle with the hot Phillies, which I don't know how much I can count on because I know you guys have handled them pretty well this year as well.
Yes, the New York Mets are 9-3 against the Phillies, and that includes a combined no-hitter, a 9th inning, 8-run comeback, and a
sweep, right?
walk-off. So Mets, Nick Plummer, first full game started, home run down the line, and a Eduardo Escobar walk-off double. So, I mean, like I said, we'll see. I mean, Mets playing 3 at home, so that gives them a favorite. They are home. They're going to have DeGrom. They're going to have Scherzer and Bassett on the bottom.
Out of it.
So
that's my question for you guys. What are you guys doing with Bassett? Are you guys just pitching a 6-man rotation right now?
No. So right now it is Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett, Carrasco, Walker.
David Peterson started a game and we missed Bassett. I don't know. Was that
that was because of the doubleheader.
And you guys didn't want to throw DeGrom in right away, right? So
yeah, right now Peterson is in AAA.
Really?
He's in AAA, but he's a guy. They option and call him up every other day, and most likely he will be a bullpen arm for the rest of the season. Like I said, they're kind of the Mets are gonna go like the Brewers approach. The Brewers, when Woodruff and Burns was called up, they put them in the bullpen, got their arms out, let them get their repertoire fixed, and then they released them in the rotation. I feel the Mets are going to do that with Peterson and Tyler McGill. You have to focus on Tyler McGill. He's been out for most.
I was going to ask you about McGill.
He's been hurt. Obviously, he had a lat issue. Then he got hurt again. He had some back soreness, so he's been out. He is throwing, so he should hopefully be back late August, early September. So most likely for the rest of the season, McGill has been confirmed that he will be in the bullpen. He'll be that, kind of long reliever, Trevor Williams type role, and I think that's a good idea. And Peterson, like I said, Mets looking for a remedy to, have a lefty in that bullpen, and they will go with David Peterson to, accompany Joey Rodriguez in that bullpen role. And then you also have Joey Lucchesi. Pitched a little bit with
them. Eight freaking starters, dude.
Yeah, they literally have 2 rotations practically. So, I mean, you also have Joey Lucchesi, who he is returning from Tommy John, I believe, also late August, early September. So he'll also be in the bullpen. Another long reliever. So, I mean, you got plenty of depth there. I mean, you have a full rotation of DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco, Walker, Peterson, McGill, Williams, and Lucchesi. So that's 9 guys. I mean, that could qualify for a starting spot. But obviously those last 4 I named will be in the bullpen.
And of course, like you guys have the Ottavino, Lugo, Diaz, Drew Smith, Trevor May. And I know the postseason rosters are 28 this year, so you guys will be able to get pretty much everybody you want. You might be able to call up somebody like Nick Plummer just to pinch run for the hell of it. So, I mean.
Yeah.
I think my question for you is Bobby Witt is in a 1-1 account with Cueto back on the mound here, 6th inning of work, 3-1 lead for the White Sox. Is McGill a righty or lefty?
Tyler McGill is a righty.
Okay. So the thing is Peterson, I know with Joely Rodriguez is your only lefty in the pen, and I know you guys are not very.
Peterson would accompany him.
Yeah, like that's something that you guys would love to accompany with because in the postseason you need at least a couple of lefties, and I know Joely Rodriguez has not had the greatest year for you guys.
The only issue that they have with putting Peterson in the bullpen is he's a guy who gets behind in the count and walks plenty of guys. And as a bullpen guy, that's the last thing you want to do is walk a leadoff guy. So that's why they're a little kind of like, do you want to leave him as a starter? He's been consistent as a starter. as soon as he comes into relief, if he comes on, he's pretty good in situational issues. If he comes into relief, there's runners on the corners, one out. He's capable of getting that light ground ball double play, that 6-4-3 double play. So that's one good thing that I like about Peterson in relief. But the walks is a little bit of a deterrent, I guess you could say.
So, I guess McGill and Lucchesi would just be straight up long relievers, right? Like they'd be your two long relief options. Peterson, if you guys can get his walk numbers down, he would be in the middle relief, you would say.
I mean, they honestly could all probably qualify for long relievers, considering that Peterson has been going much longer this year. The pitch count was kind of something that he struggled with a little bit earlier, and he kind of got a little bit more aggressive and would start to get a lot of ground balls, and that would, lower his pitch count. So
who's better, 2019 Steven Matz or 2022 David Peterson?
Oh, 2022 David Peterson.
You think so? I know Matz had like a great second half.
2015 Steven Matz.
How long you guys have him? Jeez.
Yeah, in 2015 he debuted.
Wow.
He had a couple of.
You guys had the same rotation there for years, though, didn't you? DeGrom, Syndergaard, Harvey until he got hurt, Matz.
Wheeler.
Wheeler.
Well, Wheeler was also injured every other day. I mean, Tommy John. But consistently, it was.
Consistently is one of the best rotations. I feel like that's what you guys always have is a great rotation. And for a long time, you guys didn't have the offense. You guys had plenty of pitching and just not enough depth in the offense to win 95 games. But a little bit of money from an owner, and it changes a lot, right?
I will say the Mets, and regardless of Cohen, the Wilpon era, whatever, the Mets have always been great with developing pitching. Always. They've always been phenomenal when it came to developing arms. They just seem to know what they really are going to do.
Like they brought in an aging Carrasco, and Taijuan Walker had troubles in Miami and Arizona and turned them into two of the better pitchers this season. I don't know how long it'll last for Carrasco, but it seems like if you guys are willing to pay Taijuan Walker again this offseason, you guys clearly think that he's capable of doing this for a couple more years. I think he's, 28, 29 now. So
yeah, Walker's a agent. I believe Bassett has 1 year of control left,
yeah.
I believe. So,
this is a big offseason for you guys, but I mean, honestly, you guys could easily pay them all. Like, I know at some point McNeil's probably going to want his money, but I know you guys are more than likely going to bring back Diaz, DeGrom if he opts out, and Nimmo all this offseason. So,
well, DeGrom is opting out because he wants the contract adjustment.
Oh, Salvador Perez, that ball is in the gap. Bobby Witt, who hit the leadoff single, was flying around third, easily scoring his Witt. Salvador Perez into second, and there's the get him on, get him in approach that Whit Merrifield and Salvador Perez had for many years in Kansas City. This time replace him with the young guy, Bobby Witt Jr., who scores the second run for Kansas City tonight. And just like that, Cueto, who looked like had maybe pitched himself into a quality start situation and able to get the White Sox a big advantage here going into the late innings. The White Sox say not so fast, a base hit, and we're probably tied right back up. Excuse me.
But, I mean, the Mets have a great future, like I said. I mean, Steve Cohen, being the owner of the team, he's a passionate fan, and he's willing to spend. I know the Mets, having the Wilpon and, the Katz family owning the team, from 2020 to 87, just they weren't really getting the job done. They were cheap.
Were they really Mets fans, or did they just have them as a
no, they were just billionaires that were cheap to spend money. Everyone called them the coupons.
Kind of like the Cubs owners currently with the Ricketts.
Seems pretty much
similar issues. So wait, why were the Mets sold after they won a World Series? You said from 87. I don't know if that's fully accurate. Why the hell would the Mets be sold the year after they won the World Series? Past Quintano flies out to Andrew Vaughn. Perez will stay at second, one away.
Yeah, they bought them. They worked for a company called Doubleday, and
they might have traded trademarks after that year.
The Wilpons were involved. I think they were a real estate company, and they also worked at Doubleday. And then
they were with Bernie Madoff too, right?
Yes, they got a little screwed over in the whole Bernie Madoff. scandal.
Might
But
have
no,
been why they were cheap.
you know, the Wilpons, they had like, you know, their usual like 5
Oh,
on chair, but I think they fully purchased it. I think right after they won the World Series. About
Moncada just botched a ball to be able to put away Dozier. So Dozier's at first, Salvador Perez is at third, and there's still only one away. This inning could get away from the White Sox after they had just worked to get the lead. A ball into the outfield, and we're probably tied back up. I mean, Moncada, a great spear. For those that are watching, I'm sure you'll see it here in a second, Hayden. A great spear, and not the greatest throw to Abreu. Pulled him way off the bag. And a great play turned into a one that was not wanted. Let's see what the Braves score without me. Oh, Vaughn Grisham stole a base. Good for him. He's had a good night. 8-4 Atlanta in the ninth. Cunha struck out. Dansby singled. Okay. Well.
But yeah, I guess kind of finalizing my thoughts on the Mets. I mean, bias aside, I think they're a great team. They have a great future, great ownership, great front office. I mean, Steve Cohen came in and brought in Billy Epler as a GM, and he's been a phenomenal general manager. I mean, bringing in Buck Showalter as the field manager. I don't know. Teams neglected this dude. I don't know why no team ever expressed interest in Showalter. And Mets are doing great. Brought in some bench coaches, and they're willing to spend the money and extend and give contracts to everyone. So that's good. They're intelligent. They know what they're doing. Hopefully the Mets have their own dynasty soon.
Lovely. 0-2 to Prado here. I believe it's Nick Prado. The lefty here. Cueto in some trouble here, just like Rubich was the inning before. So, 85th pitch coming up for Cueto. A strikeout he'd take. I think ideally they take another double play. Prado's going to take some time and adjust here. This is a big at-bat here. I think that this is a bigger game for the White Sox and the Royals, as we've stated already. But you don't want to give up the lead after you just earned it. Get Cueto out of there with the lead and with your offense's chance to get insurance and be able to win the game. Because you got Graveman and Hendricks willing and ready to come in. But you got to get to them. Crowd making a lot of noise at Kauffman Stadium tonight. It's a good crowd for the month of August there. A city that's pretty pretty loyal to their Royals. Missouri's just a great baseball state, if I'm being honest. 1-2 to Prado. In the dirt. They're going to say he struck him out. Cueto with the punch out. Only his third of the night. That's a big second out. Now, any scenario where you're able to get an out here and keep the lead intact. I see what you mean, RJ. Raisel Iglesias is pitching the ninth inning for Atlanta. Okay.
You guys just acquired him recently, right?
Yeah, he was one of the only guys that had a good inning for us. Or good innings for us. Yeah.
4-1 lead. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Kenley pitched last night in a non-closing spot, so maybe I thought they'd put him in, but being we're up 8-4 and we have the day off tomorrow, they're just resting him, it seems, because, geez, he can't get out of an inning without throwing 30 pitches, it seems. It's kind of frustrating. 1-0 to Massey, who, of course, made the big error in the sixth inning, which allowed 2 runs to score. So it's 1-1. Cueto nearing the 90-pitch mark, upcoming number 89. He's had a great ball game so far. As of right now, if he can get out of this unscathed, it'd be a 3 ERA night, 6 innings of 2-run ball. And his ERA would inflate from the 290 mark, but I don't think he's really chasing that at this point in time in his career. That might be a cool stat line, but I think as a player, he's just trying to make sure the White Sox have a a chance to win every fifth day that he's out there, and a team that's in a pivotal division race right now. Of course, we mentioned if they win tonight, they're only one game back, which is, in the scheme of things, nothing. So that's their mindset right now. 2-1, a swung on and missed at 94 miles an hour. A lot of movement to that sinker there, and it's 2-2. I think a lot of why Johnny Cueto was able to stay around so long, Hayden, was the movement he had that he still has in his hips when he pitches. He has a little bit of the
backwards kind of shimmy type of thing.
Kind of like the backwards shimmy, a little bit of the jerk in the leg.
Kind of going.
It's almost Kenley Jansen-like if you look at it.
Yeah, I could see that comparison.
A different mechanic, but a similar mechanic in the same fashion, where these guys are able to pitch very consistently into their 30s because their stuff might not be the same. Their velocity numbers might be dropping, but just a little bit of that makes it harder to pick up on pitches out of the hand. So, but he's got a full count here to Massey. You don't want to let him reach and load the bases, even though it is the bottom of the Royals lineup. You would like to get him out here. 3-2 pitches dropped into center field for a base hit. We got a tie ball game. Perez scores. To third goes Hunter Dozier. Massey comes through clutch, and the lead that the Royals had worked for has been evaporated basically immediately. It's 3-3 here in the sixth inning. Ooh, that's a good question, Logan. What's your favorite Major League stadium? Of course I'm going to say Truist, but I'll tell you all the ones I've been to if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, I
love Minute Maid for some reason. That's one I've never been to that I really want to visit.
I mean, out of the ones I've been to Citi Field, I've been to Fenway, I've been to Lone Depot, I've been to the Trop, I've been to Comerica, I've been to Great American, I've been to Wrigley, I went to Yankee Stadium. Out of the ones I've been to, that was my favorite. Probably Wrigley, just because the atmosphere is electric there. I mean, I get it. Cubs fans don't have a whole lot to cheer about.
Yeah.
But you couldn't even tell that they were a below 500 team because those fans are drinking.
They're having fun.
Showing people taking their shirts off, eating it in the air. People going, it's just a really great atmosphere there. The cup snake type of thing. Just really electric atmosphere.
The bleachers versus seats, how they have that little rivalry they've had for the last 50 years. Oh, you had bleacher tickets. Okay. I sat in actual seats.
Sat in bleachers, and I'll tell you when we get off, but the two girls behind us were doing like funny stuff. But it was it was like a really fun time. I mean, you couldn't they lost both games, but you couldn't even tell by how excited and how awesome the fans were. But out of a stadium that I haven't been to, I heard Camden is really nice. I definitely want to go. I heard that's really nice. PNC, I heard, is very nice. So maybe one of those two. I like Citi Field. Like, bias aside, I think it's a nice ballpark. I don't know how it's all like Brooklyn Dodger themed because they're not the Dodgers. They weren't, they're a different team. But
you think do people think Citi Field is Brooklyn Dodger?
Because they have the Jackie Robinson Rotunda, and then the entrance is kind of themed around Ebbets Field. So It's kind of they're not the Brooklyn Dodgers. So why are you making it similar to their old stadium? I don't know. Maybe it's just design. But yeah, I mean, I think Citi Field was nice. They had great food. If anyone's a foodie out there. But how about you?
All right, so I'll tell you the stadiums I've been to. Not including past stadiums. So Turner Field does not count. The former Braves home, which is a solid 4 out of 10. I grew up at that ballpark, but it was an Olympic stadium converted to baseball. Not the greatest part of town. Georgia State has taken it over as an athletic facility. There it is. So I've been to Truist Park, home of the Braves, Lone Depot, then at the time Miami, Marlins Park. It was back then I had the orange and green color scheme, but from what I hear, it's still very similar on the inside with just different coloring. I've been to Citi. I've been to Nationals Park. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to Kaminsky, which is where the Cubs or where the White Sox are. I know it's had a bunch of different names, T-Mobile, U.S. Cellular, many names alike. I've been to Dodger Stadium. I've been to – actually, no, I have not been to Dodger Stadium. I've been past it, though. I've been to Angels, Orange County. I've been to – trying to think if there's any others that I've seen. Oh, Yankee Stadium, of course, Fenway, and that's it so far. Of course, no bias aside, Truist Park is basically where I am 2 or 3 nights a week. I used to have a job there as well, as I've told you. So, Cueto also gets out of the inning, so we had a scoreless game or a tie game going to the 7th inning. So, out of my favorite that was not Truist, I'd probably go with Citi Field if I'm being honest. I went to a perfect game. I think I went to a night the Braves actually shelled the Mets. It was like 12-3 or something like that last summer. So it was during that 5-game series last year where the Braves won 3 of 5. So I think maybe that plays a part of why I loved it so much. But I think you guys had a great vibe in that stadium. The fans, you guys are not Yankee fans. You guys are completely different. So I think the vibe was a little bit of a better time there. I was at a Yankees-Phillies game, and I don't like either team very much, and those fans were still very snooty to us with our Braves hats and shirts on. So there was that. The 2 stadiums that I'd like to visit that I haven't been to yet, I would love to see many. I was an usher. I was a Braves usher. Don't really want to get into why I don't have that job anymore. I messed up. Maybe I can get it back in the future. I still have partial season tickets there, so I'll be there a lot throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, I want to go see Minute Maid, and I want to see Camden Yards. I guess if I go to Houston, I probably want to try to make the trip to go see the new Globe Life with the Rangers as well. Because Hayden, I don't know what it is. I love that orange glow that Minute Maid has at night. I don't know what it is, but it's awesome. Like, that park is nice.
Yeah.
RJ likes that. RJ likes the Rangers one. But I was in DC a couple months ago in June, and we every summer, my mom and I, we always plan a trip around the Braves and go see a city. So, for example, a couple years ago, we did New York City. We did Chicago in 2019. Last year, we did the Mets, and in New York, we also saw a Yankees game. This year we did DC. Next year we want to go to Philadelphia, just complete the whole NL East and get it off, and just check it all off. But I really want to go see Minute Maid in Camden someday. It sucks that we weren't able to make Camden while I was in DC because it's kind of awkward to go to DC and then years later go to Baltimore, being like an hour apart. But yeah, if you do want to be careful in Philly, I'll probably. I mean, I don't really know. Your skin color doesn't make you the safe. Dude, I live in Atlanta. What do you mean? It's a majority black city. Hey, what?
I got a story about Philadelphia for you guys. It's very intriguing. But
you got a Mets game there?
Oh, just the city itself. But yeah, I agree with you. Philly is a city that I haven't had the best experiences there. But yeah, this past year in June, my friend and I, who also does YouTube for baseball, him and we went to 2 games at Wrigley, game at Comerica, and a game at Great American Ballpark. And next year in June, we're going to do Philly, DC, and Baltimore.
And no, let's bite our tongue a little bit here because a lot of the fathers of this network are Philly fans and Philly natives, so we can't really say as much as they, because, Mitch, AK, Slay, a lot of people that are also in this network are Philly natives. So let's bite our tongue a little bit, but I'm interested to hear what you say. If that's it, that's it.
No, I mean, regardless, hey, I like Philly cheesesteaks.
I do too. Actually, I had one tonight had some for lunch and for dinner tonight. So,
listen, all cities have their spots. New York has their spots. Boston, Arlington, LA, Las Vegas, Philadelphia, Miami, they all have their spots. It depends where you go. From what I've heard, I'm pretty sure Citizens Bank Park is in a nice area. I know it's by Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Eagles, and then the Flyers play like right next door. From what I've heard, I heard that was in a nice area. It's like West Philadelphia. You kind of don't really want to go in.
Broad Street. But it's just, I think RJ's warning me about the fans because, the Phillies, they don't like the Mets and they really don't like the Braves. They don't like either of us.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about like the crime and stuff.
Yeah, but like that, I mean, that's how it is everywhere. Chicago, I was there for a
Right.
week, no problem. New York, I was there for a week, no problem. DC,
When I went,
with
when
all
I
the
went,
stuff that's gone over in the summer, like no problem. So
yeah, when I went to Chicago, we were on the north side, obviously, where Wrigley is in Wrigleyville, and my friends and I walked back to our hotel room at 11 p.m. There were a group of girls behind us and a family in front of us. It was so lively. Like no one, everyone's like, "Oh, don't walk to your hotel." No one did anything. It was lively. There was cops all around. There was, bars were all, lively and, it's safe. Like I said, all areas have their spots. I mean, when it comes to fans at stadiums, it's unfortunate, but it's whatever. I thought you guys were talking about crime in Philadelphia, not the fans.
I'm not absolutely sure. Oh, he said he got robbed in Philly, so whatever that
Oh,
means.
yeah, well, I can understand you on that.
Because
But
you can't see the comments on here, can you?
no, I can.
Like, can you see like?
Yep.
If I highlight it or just okay.
Yeah, no, I got it. I got robbed in Philly. Yeah, I see it. Logan, what did you do at Truth for Work? Geo, City Field is awesome. I see it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to other fan bases and wearing opposing jerseys at stadiums, I mean, it's a risk you're going to take. I went to Yankee Stadium in 2019 wearing a Padres jersey, and I had a ton of old 50-year-old drunks giving me a hard time.
Were the Padres playing the Yankees?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
I wore my Machado jersey, and 50-year-old drunk dude were giving me a hard time, and I'm like, okay. So like I said,
they didn't really reveal. I'm actually a Mets fan. They're like, oh, double down on this kid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what? Like I said, it's whatever. Wearing an opposing team's jersey at a different stadium, it's a risk you take. I mean, I'm respected. I respect all fan bases. I mean, because treat people how you want to be treated. I want to be able to go to a Phillies game, a Dodgers game, a Yankees game, a Marlins game wearing Mets attire. So, I'm not going to,
I can't say if you look at my Twitter that I treat every fan base as respectfully as others.
Well, it's one thing if it's on Twitter rather than face to face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that,
known for that. Twitter's where you get all that toxic stuff out of your system. Swung on a miss, Stallman retires Abreu 2 away here in the action, 7th inning.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter, you could say whatever you want as long as it's not like anything arbitrary or barbaric. But listen, as long as you're not saying it in someone's face. I mean, I've seen videos of Mets fans fighting Philly fans and Dodgers fans fighting Astro fans and White Sox fighting Guardians fans, and it's just it's supposed to be a fun time at the ballpark. Just focus on yourself. Focus on
when you guys triple team that Braves fan this weekend. One person was holding him back, and the other two were sucker punching him. I was like, dude,
it's you're paying tickets to go to a game and enjoy it. Why are you gonna waste it out by getting kicked out? There's kids around. If you're gonna do that, do it outside of the stadium or leave. Don't even bother doing it.
I think the funny thing is, what's interesting is that Mets fans will put people in the seats at Truist, and same with the Braves at City. Like both of us will have 15% attendance at each other's park. Not a lot, but enough to where if the other team is winning, you'll hear them. So
yeah,
I heard chopping this weekend, not Sunday, not including that one, but I heard some chopping in the second game of the series, and I know 2 games that you guys won in Atlanta, there were some Mets fans in attendance there too. So I feel like there's the Braves fans are also everywhere, and New Yorkers are everywhere. So there's going to be people. Fans in both cities. So Atlanta people working in New York and New York people living in Atlanta. So that's how it is.
Philadelphia, Boston.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of people pack the Braves house. The only people that will do that will be the Yankees or the Dodgers on certain years. But yeah, any big market will put people in the seats. The Cardinals did. Like, as I said, I worked as an usher this year for a while. Reds had a lot of people there. The Reds have a bigger fan base. The Cubs. We played the Reds at the very beginning of the year too, so they had no idea what was in store for them. They were 0-0 coming into town. They left town 2-2, so not a great look on our part. But Cubs fans were very friendly to me. Brewers fans, well, there's not a lot of them. They were very friendly to me because I worked in the 300s on the third base line, so I was higher up on the away side. So I always had a good bit of away fans in my section. And the funny thing was, I don't know if the person's still in here that was talking about it. Is let's see. Logan, to kind of circle it back here, is Andrew Vaughn's in a 2-2 count, 2 away, nobody on. The funny thing was, every time an away fan would ask me a question, I would always end it back with, because I knew the direction of where the Atlanta airport was from my section, right? So let's just say it's kind of perfect. I kind of worked down this line. So, for example, from this picture, the Atlanta airport is that way. Like, it's miles this way, if this makes sense. And every time an Atlanta or anytime an away fan would come up to me, and I don't know if you can see it, Hayden, I would say, "Oh, and by the way, the Atlanta airport is that way," pointing to the direction of where our international airport was held. And that was kind of a little funny thing I did to mess with them. So, pretty funny. We were kind of taught that, though. We always said kind of banter with the away fans, kind of mess with the kids. Like, whenever a kid would come by with a slice of pizza, me hungry as can be, like, "Oh, you bought me a pizza? High five." And if they didn't high five you, then you kind of just stood there for a couple of seconds like, awkward. But I did that. So sometimes the fans would be generous, be like, "Here, have some fries." I'm like, I technically can't do that. I would love it, but no. You can come by with all the food you want, and I have to go eat coleslaw in the basement. So we actually got an interesting game here in the stretch. Tie game.
Yeah, I know this game was kind of starting off a little boring, but then, towards the 6th inning, things got a little bit dicey, and both teams were able to tie it up in the 6th inning. Obviously, White Sox took a 3-1 lead, and then the Royals responded in that inning and said, "We're actually going to tie it up." So we'll see how things get started. Obviously, Jake Diekman, White Sox new acquisition, is coming in for the bottom of the 8th inning to pitch for the White Sox, and the Royals will have the 9-1-2 hitters in Lopez, Melendez, and Witt Jr. batting off to try and get some action on the board for the Royals. Who knows? Maybe we will get some extra innings. We will have to see. I know you were talking about the White Sox not being good at home, and how the extra inning rule would always come to bite them back. Who knows? Maybe it'll favor them tonight if there is extra innings, obviously.
I think an interesting point here is 7 of the 9 hitters in the Royals lineup have gotten a hit tonight. The only 2 who have not, Nicky Lopez leading off this inning, and Nick Prada, who's in the 6-0 tonight. He has grounded into a double play, flew out, and struck out swinging. Lopez, of course, had the line out in his recent at-bat in the 5th inning, and then he fouled out to end the 3rd. So if Prado can get on here, that's 8 of 9 Royals to reach. And as you said, it will be Jake Diekman, who was in that Reese McGuire trade, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to face him here, lefty-lefties, to start the inning. So, again, the White Sox need this game more than the Royals do. And Jake Diekman with a 4.10 ERA, 48 games, 41 2/3 innings pitched to this point in the season here as we get closer to action. Diekman was a Red Sox. Thank you, RJ, for the correction. So what trade was that? maybe we should this at the end of this half inning, Hayden. I'll have, if you want to, I can do it as well. We'll go around and tell the scores from around the league.
Sure.
And then I also want to Google all the White Sox trade deadline transactions. So maybe we can do that like middle of the 8th. So 0-2 quickly here to Nicky Lopez. As we said, he's one of the only 2 guys to not reach for the Royals tonight. Takes 0-2 down and away, so now on a 1-2 count. I see RJ's Rangers in the lead in the late inning. So I take it back. The Astros literally just tied it up. So a 3-3 game in the Battle of Texas between the Rangers and the Astros. The White Sox bullpen is not stirring, but they're also not sitting around doing nothing. It looks like they're all kind of staying loose out there. A 1-2 pitch from Diekman at 97 miles an hour is fouled down the left field line off the screen. This is the type of scenario you get Jake Diekman for, to face the lefties, have a shutdown inning, let him get to your setup guys. Graveman and Hendricks are dying to come into this ball game, but Diekman's got to do his part to get him there. And I mean, sure enough, so does the White Sox offense, because you would think that they're going to have to put some more runs on the board to get themselves in a safe spot tonight. Because while the Royals offense might not be mighty, they're getting on base tonight and they're scoring runs. So got to shut them down. 1-2 pitch on the ground at the second base over there to pick it up is believe that's Josh Harrison. It is. He throws it onto a Brave. So one out to start the inning. Lefty works out in the favor of the White Sox, and there's one retired. We'll turn it back over to MJ Melendez, who tonight is 1 for 2 with a walk, singled to right field to start the action for the Royals in the first inning. Walked his second time up in the third, and then he grounded up to the shortstop in the fifth inning. So Melendez, as we talked about earlier, one of the better arms for a left fielder in the league. Good speed on him, so not a bad leadoff hitter for the Royals at this point in time. 0-1 the count. Hitting .232 on the year, 13 homers, 38 ribbies, and OPS of 750 on the nose. And he's looking to at least get on here and allow guys like Bobby Witt and Perez, who have done the job as well tonight, and Hunter Dozier as well, to be able to get him in and get the Royals the lead back here in the late innings. 0-1, foul ball, headed over towards the White Sox dugout. He was trying to go against the shift there.
So you have MLB TV, right?
Yeah.
You have all 30 or just the Braves?
I have all 30. The Braves are blacked out, so I'm when I can't watch.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'll watch the rest of the league with MLB.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Florida, so that's kind of the only reason I got it. But I have all 30 teams, with the exclusion of the Marlins, obviously.
What about the Rays?
I get the Rays.
Really?
I live in South Florida, so that's kind of why. I live, like, near Miami.
Yeah, the market gets cut off? Okay.
I live about probably, like, I'm a good hour drive from Miami. I'm an hour north, and Tampa's, like, northwest coast. So, however, if near at my school, Tampa's blocked off, and Miami.
Uh-oh. Melendez might have jumped Diekman. 1-2. Back at the wall. It is gone into the Royals bullpen. MJ Melendez said, screw getting on base. I'll get myself home with one swing. His 14th of the year. And it is a 4-3 Royals lead.
Wow. All right, I think I'm linked up with you now, actually. I saw the homer.
He knew it, too. That was
only
the bullpen, but it carried. Uh-oh.
Yeah, if you ever want me to do, like, play-by-play or anything, I can, because I'm linked up. Got it. Yes, sir. So the Royals will take over the lead. Nice smooth swing from MJ Melendez to the right-hand side. And that landed into the bullpen. Royals will get the lead. Clutch homer.
You said it was from the right-hand side, correct?
I meant like right field. I meant.
Okay, I'm going to be like, otherwise that's a hell of an oppo taco. But I believe it was a lefty crime, right?
Yeah, no, it was. I meant right field.
I see what you mean. Whit Merrifield out to Luis Robert for a can of corn. There's 2 away. This has been a common occurrence for the White Sox this year. They can't finish these games. They had a quiet offense for a couple innings. Cueto kept them in it. They go out and get him a couple of runs. They give it right back, and here they are staring up at the Royals again here late in the inning. Like, this is not how playoff teams play ball. And this is why the White Sox have not played like a playoff team all year. That is for sure.
Jake Diekman comes in. Very unfortunate situation. He gives up a solo bomb to MJ Melendez. I'm assuming that he's the White Sox. The White Sox pitching coach will come out and have a talk with Diekman and Grandal to try and figure this out. Obviously, Salvador Perez is coming up and could easily expand this lead with one swing of the bat. So the White Sox would much prefer to keep this a 1-0 up, a 1-run ball game, rather than a 2-run ball game. So they will try and see what they could do, obviously.
And you would think if it wasn't for Vinny Pasquantino having a 2-hit night, maybe they decide to walk Perez here, go lefty-lefty with 2 outs. But again, Pasquantino has not only had a good night, you just had a lefty take a yard to give up the lead. So maybe the intentional walk scenario, which would work out in a lot of situations, not as ideal here. First pitch to Perez is just outside. Good framing by Grandal, but not enough for the umpire to give it a strike, 1-0. You would have to think Scott Barlow is probably up and tossing for the Royals right now in the bullpen. I believe he's their setup or closer, either or. They would love to throw him out there. 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Count evens up at 1 apiece. Again, after the inning, Hayden will have a update of scores around the league for everything in action and everything that has already been wrapped up for tonight on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022, around the landscape of the league. And again, we will see you guys again Sunday night for the Sunday night telecast. So double check which one that is later. Salvador Perez hits one through the shift for a base hit, his second of the night. And the Royals with a chance to add on here with Pasquantino. Diekman has just come in and not done his job this inning. This is not what the Royals traded for, not a guy to do this in these scenarios. And, I mean, we'll give the Royals credit. They're hitting the ball around 11 hits, 4 runs on the night. If the White Sox can't win a simple game like this, which they haven't been able to consistently all year, you got no shot in the postseason. Playing your division rival like the Twins, playing the Blue Jays, playing the Yankees, playing the Astros, even the Mariners. Like, these teams will run them into the ground, even the way Baltimore's playing. So
the Orioles are in a playoff spot now.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. I think Tampa, I think Cleveland, I think anybody could beat a White Sox team the way they're playing and the way they're assembled right now with games like this. When a team like the Royals with 45 wins puts up 11 hits and 4 runs and they're threatening to do more, they still got 4 outs, potentially 7 to play with. So all to be seen. Jake Diekman about to make his 17th pitch of the inning. Of course, the lefty-lefty solo homer earlier this inning is what made it 4-3 in favor of the Royals. First of all, how do you like the color I put at the banner at the bottom? I tried to find a color between the baby blue of the Royals and the black of the White Sox, and I settled for that. So
pretty neat.
I felt if I made it too light, it was too Royal-like, and the further I went down, it seemed more for the Southsiders. Ball into the shift. Harrison's got it, and that will retire the side. But what it was an eventful inning, lefty-lefty crime. MJ Melendez goes deep, his 14th of the year, and going into the 8th inning, it is now a 4-3 advantage for the Southsiders. Hayden, take it away with the MLB recap.
Yeah, so let's take a little dive around the majors, and let's go out west. Well, not really out west, but they are in the West Division, and that is with the Texas matchup, the Texas Rangers, Houston Astros, currently in the bottom of the 8th inning, tied up 3-3. Astros had the lead on the Astros in the bottom of the 7th until Yordan Alvarez came to clutch with a tying home run, his 31st of the year. The long ball has been a big thing for the Astros today. Kyle Tucker going yard. So we got a 3-3 ball game for the Texas Rangers and Houston Astros. Obviously, Verlander having an okay start, not from what we've been seeing. Obviously, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. That ERA was inflated a little to 185, but still very dominant. So we'll see what can go on there. Obviously, going out to Colorado, Rockies, St. Louis Cardinals, 7-2. Austin Gomber is actually pitching, who was in the Nolan Arenado trade, so that's kind of funny to look at. But right now, Cardinals are beating up on the Rockies a little bit, so good to see if you're a Cardinals fan. Cardinals offense is firing on all cylinders We got some home runs from Arenado, Goldschmidt, Edman. If you're a Cardinals fan, you like to see that. Continuing out west to the Diamondbacks. Pirates, Diamondbacks playing kind of a boring game a little bit. 3-0 Pirates in the bottom of the fourth inning. Not a whole lot of action. Ben Gamble driving in a run, and Kevin Newman was at bat until Jason Daly stole home. So that's always interesting to see. They're on top. And then obviously the only game that is currently going on is an interleague game between the Dodgers and Minnesota Twins. Dodgers are on top by a score of 1-0. And that was a solo home run, his 13th of the year, by Max Muncy in the second inning. So good to see Max Muncy starting to warm up a little bit. He's been quiet, but he's been warming up a little bit. Looking at some of the games that are finished, Mets beat up on the Reds 10-2. Offense is on fire. Pitching's been holding down the fort. Obviously, the Yankees lost their last 7 of 8, and they lost the series to the Seattle Mariners. Both games lost were by 1-run games, so that's unfortunate. So we will see as the game comes back on, commercial break is over, and we will go to the top of the 8th inning, and Dylan Coleman will come into relief for the Royals to face Yon Moncada, who's currently 0 for 2 on the day, with a walk and a strikeout, responsible for 1-run scoring earlier on in this game.
So you want to know what's interesting to me?
Yeah.
Is that well, let me make sure I'm correct here on this. Okay. Never mind. I was about to say for a second I confused Coleman for a lefty. I was about to be like, okay, so why is Moncada batting from the left side, lefty, but scratch that. But yeah, to answer Miguel's question here, where can you watch the ball game, not match? It's on FS1, so that's the reason we're doing this game tonight. It's actually televised. We usually do Sunday night baseball games around here, but I made a hiccup with Mitch Kofsky, who's one of the leaders of the Hardcore Network, and we mixed up the game time starting a little bit earlier. So we're filling in tonight with Wednesday night FS1, and then we'll be back again for Sunday night's game. For whatever game that is for the rest of the season. So maybe we'll mix in some TBS or Fox games for after Sunday night's baseball's rights end. But as of right now, we're here tonight in a 4-3 game, a big strikeout there from Dylan Coleman to lead off the 8th inning. What's good, Further AM? How you doing tonight? Good to see. Good to hear from you, sir. So it is a big strikeout there on Moncada, this is a very Yoan Moncada game for 2022. A very White Sox game. We're seeing a lot of their flaws play out in front of our eyes. When you were doing the MLB recap, I was looking at the stat down here that ESPN has for us, all the games that they played so far this year. The White Sox are a mere 7-6 versus the Royals. And if this holds 7-7, that's not where you want it to be. You want to be 13-6, 14-5 against a team like the White Sox, or against a team like the Royals, if the White Sox want to go to the places they hope, and that's not where they are right now.
Yeah, you certainly cannot have that. A team that's ambitious to win the division, you cannot be getting beat up by a team that has one of the worst records in the American League and, of course, in baseball. And what's going on, Matthew? Appreciate you tuning in, man. But yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to see for the Chicago White Sox. Shout
out to the 8 people in here as we await the rest of the action here. A 1-2 to Grandal, who's been on twice tonight, and I believe he walked. So he's been on every opportunity he's had. He got stranded with his 8th inning walk, but they were able to come through with a Josh Harrison single in the 6th inning to give the White Sox at the time a 3-1 lead. Since then, it's all but been erased. He's behind 1-2 in the count to Dylan Coleman, of course, batting from the left side for the first time tonight. Chris Bubich, who had a great 6 innings of work from the left side, forced guys like Moncada and Grandal to hit from the right side, but they've shifted back left here against the righty. Looking for the 6th pitch of the at-bat, fouling off the slider and the 4-seam each. Waiting for his pitch, and I believe Tony La Russa is just as anxious as any White Sox fan is right now. We've discussed him enough tonight, though, to really throw him under the bus again. 10th pitch from Coleman is in there, locking up Grandal, and he knew it, looking strike 3. So Coleman coming out of the pen and just throwing heat, throwing haymakers, and he's got an opportunity to strike out the side. He's got to go through looks like Josh Harrison Nadusa, who's 1 for 4 with 2 punch outs. So he doesn't want the golden sombrero, but I think Coleman would like to give it to him without his permission. So that's where we're at. With the White Sox. Go ahead.
I was going to say Grandal striking out has been something that has been seen a little bit too much this year.
We're seeing a lot of the White Sox issues play out in front of our eyes tonight, that's for sure. We've discussed them in depth a lot. So for people that want to go back and hear what we're saying, I want to say it was the middle of the 6th inning, right, Hayden? Or the middle of the 5th one?
Yeah, about around an hour mark.
If you guys want to go back and to the VOD after the game and hear what we said our biggest flaws were for the White Sox, go back and check either middle of the 5th or middle of the 6th inning. We have the little scorecard down here, so if you guys are scrolling to be able to find the markers, we gave a good 15-20-minute breakdown during pretty much an inning of action of why they haven't been able to get to where they are, because I think they've been the most disappointing team in the league this year. A lot of people predicted them to win the AL Central, and it's funny because the Twins are right in that scenario last year. A lot of people thought the White Sox and Twins would have a great battle all of last year. Twins ended up being last place in the Central. And people kind of saw a couple sneaky moves from them this offseason. Getting Correa was a big one. Getting Buxton back healthy. Trading for Sonny Gray. Positioning themselves to run with the Tigers, we thought, for the 2nd place in the AL Central. And it's just another year where it didn't go where we thought it'd be. Cleveland's ahead of schedule. Detroit's still bad. The White Sox can't get on track. And here we are with a 3-team race in the month of August for the AL Central. That's not very normal. Scott Barlow is up and tossing for the Royals, so they're looking to get him in for a save opportunity in the 9th. That's if Coleman can do his duty here and get out of the 8th, and if the Royals don't pour it on in the bottom half of the inning. Sheets down 1-2. Here's the pitch from Coleman in the dirt. And we'll do it again at 2-2. That was a slider that time. Oh, no, was it? Waiting for it to update here on our scoreboard. The Russo has just now put on the glasses. It was a slider, so take that back. So maybe he means business when he puts on the glasses, and when he doesn't, it's nap time. Maybe not, but we'll have to see. 2-2 pitch. God, I'm swinging. Checked it. He went around, and Coleman coming out, throwing heat, strikes out the side.
Electric stuff.
All 3 from the left side. And wow, Moncada, Grandal, Sheets. They won all against the analytics, and the Royals said, screw that. And they're 3 outs away from their 7th victory of the season versus the White Sox and getting a big steal of a victory here. Jeez.
Obviously, taking a look-see at the AL Central after this game, obviously the Cleveland Guardians were able to defeat the Tigers today. So obviously, with that win, that would still keep them in 4th place. Tigers are in 5th place. The Tigers 2-8 in their last 10. They've just been getting beat up. Royals and White Sox both 6-4 in their last 10. But I see what you were mentioning. Obviously, the White Sox are 25-29 at home. So, it's interesting. And they're 31-25 on the road. And you don't see that. Usually you see teams have a better record at home than away.
They're also 3 outs away from being 7-7 against the Royals. Which these are supposed to be our cupcake games. And so you see right here, they haven't got footing versus them. So
that would be very inadequate to see.
Looks like it's going to be Lambert coming in for Diekman. So, of course, he gave up the homer last inning to MJ Melendez, lefty crime, and that's where we're at. Shout out to the 8 people in here right now. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're just waiting for this commercial break from FS1 to end. And again, we'll be back here Sunday night for the ESPN telecast. I'm not absolutely sure what the teams are off the top of my head. I guess I could check in just a moment of what Sunday's game will be. But we will also be here live on Hardcore, live on the Twitters, live on Twitch. Pretty much, I think we have 7 or 8 different platforms to stream from. And, of course, I know Hayden will let his community know to make the trip over here as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys again Sunday night. But still some action to get through here, and I'll figure out what the Sunday game is here.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is. Oh, that's kind of boring, isn't it? Isn't that what it is?
Tigers and Red Sox is to be determined.
I feel like that's what it is. I feel like they have a Red Sox Yankees game, Sunday night game, every couple of weeks.
Pretty much.
Which, sure, it's a historic matchup, but they've already had them 3 times this year. Like, is that not good enough? You know, Fox will have the Saturday game. And you look at where I guess the Yankees are not playing great ball right now. Neither are the Red Sox. The Braves are actually 7-1 their last 8 games in Fenway, which is kind of cool to think about. But I don't know if that's going to be the most exciting game. I mean, I guess you would think it would at least be more exciting than the game we've had tonight. Granted, it's turned out to be better than what we expected here. 8th inning here. 2-0 Hunter Dozier leading off. Lambert, of course, coming in relief. Trying to see if they pull up any of his numbers. If not, maybe you could look into him a little bit more. 2 fastballs have been off the plate so far. The sign from Grandal from the pitch com. Lambert's got it. And here is working quickly the 2-0. Swung on. Past a diving Yohan Moncada into left field. Over to pick it up in the outfield is Sheets. And it is a leadoff single there from Vaughn. Let me make sure that it was Sheets in left field. Andrew Vaughn. Okay, so my apologies. I mixed them up. So that's exactly what the Royals have done all night. They've had 12 hits. 7 of their guys in the lineup have got a hit. Nick Prado with the chance to be the 8th. And they're doing the dirty work here. It might be the dog days of summer. Their season might be long but over, but they're playing with heart tonight, and they have a great chance of victory here. Had to bring in the Pete. Is the 8th inning sponsored by Pete's Burgers?
Polar Bear Pete. Polar Bear Burger.
I love it.
We also got this dude on. Garrett Cole. That'll come up now. We'll get rid of this.
And now tomorrow night we got the Field of Dreams, which we won't be live for, but everybody can go enjoy some sort of Cubs-Reds game in the cornfield in Iowa. Saturday, of course, we'll be right back here for the Long Ball Podcast live here on all our networks. And Sunday night, Hayden and I will be back here again for the Yankees at Red Sox game. So, of course, I know Hayden, a lot of Mets fans like the Red Sox, right? Because as the saying goes, the enemy of the enemy is my friend.
That is true. But heading on to the Field of Dreams, I wonder who's going to be playing there next year. It's going to be an interesting matchup for next year, obviously. When it was decided, Reds were kind of in contention. So
yeah, and the Cubs made some moves this offseason to make it look like they'd be better. See, what I thought, I wanted you guys in the Mets, you guys and the Cubs to play there because I wanted it to be the other New York Chicago. But
okay,
I'm not cool enough to think that way. So, I thought it'd be interesting to go. Okay, we want New York Chicago. Let's go with the other New York Chicago. They said, nah, we're fine. I'm like, all right. I guess we'll enjoy a Cubs-Reds game instead. I went to my sports broadcasting camp a couple weeks ago, which I've been going to for years. And my last year as a camper this year, if you guys can see, I got one of their little mics that they give away for the older campers this year. And the funny thing was we do these stations as it's 2-1 to Prado. We have these stations that we do as I've done them for years because I've been there for a long time, but for the younger campers and for the new campers to learn what it's like in different scenarios. And we were doing a pre/post-game show. And we decided to do a pregame show for Field of Dreams because it's the first thing that came to mind. I was the host. The 2 people that were in my group were the co-host. And we had this like whole role-playing thing the whole time about like we pretended that these guys had recently been traded. Like we had a Wilson Contreras Houston trade in there. We had an Ian Happ Yankees trade. We had Mike Moustakas in some sort of deal. So like we kind of made it as realistic as possible, knowing that we thought the teams would look a lot different. And granted, the Reds and the Cubs held on to more people than I think you and I can agree, more than we thought. Some certain stars that are going to be in free agency in the next year or two, we thought they'd sell high on. They didn't. So it might make the game more entertaining to watch tomorrow, seeing the Ian Happs, the Joey Vottos, the Wilson Contrerases. But all remains to be seen. Nick Prado, as I said earlier, with a base hit right here, would be the 8th man to get a hit tonight for the Royals in that lineup, and he's ahead 3-1, so he might not have to take the bat off the shoulders to get on base here. Of course, Hunter Dozier led off the inning with the single. Shout out to the 11 people in here. Viewership kind of went down for the middle innings here, but everybody's here for the exciting finish between the Royals and the White Sox. So exciting very sarcastically. Eighth pitch from Lambert. It's going to be outside, and the Royals bullpen is just not doing their job tonight. Cueto got into a little bit of trouble in the sixth inning, was able to work out of it, did lose his lead, but, threw almost 95 pitches at 36, 37 years old. That's a lot of work, and he was able to get it done. Diekman comes in, gives up the lefty homer in the lead, and Lambert has not retired the first two guys he's seen, which will bring up Massey here, who's 1 for 3. He struck out looking in the third, grounded into a double play in the fourth inning, and he singled to center, which scored the tying run his last time up in the sixth. Look at his splits here. He must have recently been called up because you see in the quadrants, these quadrants here, Hayden, these top 3 and right here, hitting 0-0, like nothing. You look in this top corner, he's hitting 100 or 1,000. Every pitch that's been thrown here, he's got a hit on. 800 here, 500 here, and 286 right over the heart. So that tells you this guy's maybe not been in the majors as long as most people have. He made the big error tonight, which gave the White Sox the temporary lead in the sixth inning, scored 2 runs. How you doing, AK? Good to hear from you, man. Hopefully the game gives us a great finish as well, but we appreciate it. Massey's going to lay one down, a sacrifice bunt. Moncada's going to have one play to first. Jumping out of the way is Lambert, the pitcher. And on to cover it is Harrison coming over from second base. There's one away here in the eighth inning. That'll move the runners over to second and third. So Isbell, the center fielder, with the chance of ball getting into the outfield grass to give the Royals a 3-run lead. And you would think that's plenty for Scott Barlow, who's had a great year there so far. We would guess would be the closer. But a long ball would put him out of the scenario to need to close. So it all remains to be seen what the Royals can do here in the bottom half of the inning. Great start, though.
Successful bunt there. Get 2 runners in scoring position. For Kyle is Bell. Possibly a base hit can easily open up this ball game and give the Kansas City Royals some breathing room.
Hitting 218 on the year. Only 3 homers, 17 RBIs. So it's 1-1 now. Lambert about falling off the mound. What's up, Derek? How you doing? He said, howdy, Hayden. Take off the White Sox hat. Like my hat, Derek? Hard to see through the green screen, but it says World Series 2021. So I wear it almost every day.
He is a Braves, so you guys would probably get along a little bit better.
Oh, is he like one of the, not trolls, but one of the goofballs in your community?
He's chill. He's a good guy.
1-1 pitch is going to be through the hole in the left center field. Coming over is Andrew Vaughn. There will be no play at the plate. It is a 6-3 Royals lead. Kyle Isbell comes through for his 18th and 19th RBIs. And this game is completely unraveled for the White Sox. 5 unanswered runs and the 6 in the 8th inning, 7th inning homer as well to boot. And it is now a 3-run advantage for the home squad. White Sox bullpen, man. Phew.
Very unfortunate, like I said. That sacrifice bunt really came into effect, and it put 2 runners in scoring position, and it drove both of them in. So obviously things have blown up for Jimmy Lambert.
I think what's interesting, if you look at it, the White Sox had bases loaded with less than 2 outs twice this game. First time they got nothing. Actually, they had them with no outs, I think. They had bases loaded, no outs twice this game. 2 runs with 6 guys on. And that's clearly going to come back to bite them if things hold up this way. 6-3 lead. They have Luke Weaver and Scott Barlow warming up for, I believe, if the lead stays where it's at, they'll put Barlow in a 3-run game or less. And if not, if they can add on, they'll put in Luke Weaver. Both righties to shut the door. Lambert's 14th pitch fouled away off the screen. And, this is a game where the White Sox fans at home are all just screaming their head off. A game that they had. They kept Cueto kept them in the game. Bubic pitched great as well for the Royals earlier tonight, and they had themselves a chance to win this game. They had the lead in the middle innings, and they could not hold it. The bullpen has not thrown a zero tonight. It looks like they might not get the chance to in the ninth, and another game that's going to slip away from the Southsiders. If they drop this game, with you said Cleveland winning, I think Cleveland has sole possession of the first place lead, up a half game on the Twins, and if the White Sox lose, they'll be 2 games back of the Twins and 2.5 back of the Guardians for first. So all these games are adding up, especially if they lose, they'll be 7-7 against the Royals this year. I keep hammering this point home, not what they're looking for. And as RJ says in the chat, the Twins and the Dodgers are playing tonight in LA. It looks like top of the third inning, it's 3-2 Twins with runners on. So something I think the White Sox and the Guardians both like to see, but if everything holds tonight, if the Dodgers come back and do their thing, and if the Royals hold off here, it looks like the Guardians will be the sole first place team in the Central come tomorrow morning.
Rangers and Astros game going into extra innings.
RJ also loves that. It's 1-2 count to Nicky Lopez. The only man to not reach base for the Royals tonight. 7 have got hits. Nick Prado, of course, walked earlier this inning, came around to score. Now Lopez can find some way to get on. Every person in the Rangers lineup, every person in the Royals lineup has found a way to get on base tonight. Runner going and into second base easily is Eaton, I believe, right? No. Who? Is that Kyle Isbell? Yeah, Kyle Isbell. And with the stolen base, that ball skipping in there. Grandal, who's had better defense this year than his offense. I know he was hurt for a while, and as you noted, his numbers have not been what they wanted. He's at least been good behind the plate, framing and throwing guys out. And not there. That was a 2-hopper into the bag. RJ wants 70+ wins for the Rangers, and they're still in. Have an interesting shot to do that. 2-2 pitch, got him swinging, strike 3. Righty lefty gets the punch out, and there's 2 away. So Isbell's on second. We know what MJ Melendez did his last time up here. They're showing the twin score around the major league. So Fox Sports is actually behind what we were saying here, Hayden. As you see now, they're finally deciding to talk about the AL Central landscape. So, of course, the Twins at 57 and 52 up in this game. The Guardians a half game better, and the White Sox, if they can't find a way to pull this one out of the hat, will be 56 and 55. Royals coming along as the 4th place team in the AL Central, a couple games ahead of the Tigers. So, which seemed to be a common theme the last couple of years. You can always count on the Royals and the Tigers being at the bottom, usually 4 and 5. 0-1 pitch. High and away at 94. Tony La Russa took back off the glasses, so not a great sign. Something's clearly going on with that old man. 21st pitch on the way from Lambert. Call strike 1 and 2 on MJ.
Pujols homer.
Oh, good for him.
687th home run of his career.
I want him to play one more year. If he has an above average season offensively next year, he will finish with 700 career homers.
I hope he does. He needs to.
And he's hit like 296 in his career. So if he has a solid season next year, like by solid, I mean like if he hits like 280 with like a dozen homers or even less than that next year, he could retire he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. He could potentially retire with a 700 career homer and 300 career average career. Like, wow. I hope he does next year. I think, especially if Wainwright decides to stay another year. I think what sucks is that they could have brought Matt Carpenter back too, and they let the Yankees snag him up. Could you imagine in 2022 the Cardinals having Matt Carpenter, Waino, Pujols, and Yadier Molina? I would have asked you what year we're really in.
Their 4-man That's some nostalgia.
I mean, don't forget also Matt Holliday was also good for them for many years.
Could bring Jackson Holiday. They should have drafted him then.
True. 2-2 pitch looked great from here, but not to the home plate umpire. The White Sox have walked some guys tonight, so it's kind of hard to get those calls in those scenarios. It's now a full count to MJ Melendez, who homered to the Royals bullpen down the right field line his last time up. Gave him a 4-3 lead. Now looking to pat it on and make it to where Scott Barlow does not need to come in the game, and then he's going to do just that. Base hit in the right center field. Over there to get it is Gavin Sheets. In to score easily is Kyle Isbell. The stolen base paying off huge. It's a 7-3 advantage for the Royals. A 3-run inning. That's going to be 5 earned runs tonight for the Royals bullpen. Wow. I've said that a couple times to that tonight, but geez, just right through the shift.
Unfortunate for the Chicago White Sox bullpen. Diekman coming in, giving up a run, and then Lambert coming in and giving up 3 more. Great fundamental baseball there from the Royals. Isbell stealing a base. Obviously, Melendez following with the base hit with the runner in scoring position to drive him in. So good fundamental baseball there from the Royals, but the White Sox bullpen not able to get the job done tonight. Very unfortunate to see. And Bobby Wood Jr. will come up. Looks like that first pitch, swing and a miss. 85-mile-per-hour slider just below the zone.
Can you read the score bug okay? From, like, your point of view? Like, can you read this? So, because, yeah, you can – I mean, look how far this pitch was off the radar. Pitch number 2 was way out in no man's land.
Is it cool if I do some play-by-play for the 9th, or? Sure.
If you wanna call the 9th inning, it's all you. Why not?
Brush up on my commentary.
All right. Got to get ready for Sunday for the Yankees and Red Sox. It'll be a real test with homers flying everywhere between Verdugo and Judge and Stanton and anybody in that Red Sox lineup because they shipped away a couple of good guys. Funny thing is Hosmer, not to say it's funny, but Hosmer about got injured last night. He took a foul ball right off his leg, like right near one of your leg bones. He fouled it right off that, and he screamed. And I'm like, wow, that would be something for him to get traded. And then to get hurt, you already know Luke Voigt's at home doing this, saying, haha, you deserve that. But he continued on and played the rest of the game. I find it funny enough that Tommy Pham and Hosmer are together again. Like, isn't that how do those two always end up together on the same team? They were in KC, they were in San Diego, and they are together again in Boston. Like, how are those two guys who look kind of ironically similar to one another, how are they so linked in their career? 2-2, fouled away. But yeah, I think those are two guys that – doesn't it seem like they've been on the same team for a long time? In different places?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, Tommy Pham and Eric Hosmer, they kind of look the same. I don't know. It's very funny.
A little bit of light facial hair, like the 5 o'clock shadow of Hosmer doesn't, just shaved or something, I guess. Yeah, I can kind of see it.
Yeah. The oil skin. 3-2 to Bobby Witt, who's had a good night. 3 RBIs, as we talked about. Let's see. 1 RBI, but 2 hits. Flew out to center. First at bat was cranked out to deep center field. 3-2 pitch, and he lost on ball 4, and Lambert could not find the strike zone. 33 pitches in the inning. And you don't think the White Sox would want to burn another arm with this game probably more than over. You wonder if you just let Lambert ride it out. I didn't see what his ERA and stats were coming into the inning. I don't know if you did either, Hayden, but geez, this is not the performance they were looking for here. I'm wondering if LaRusso was wondering if he should have gone to Graveman instead. Because he is supposed to be that 8th inning guy here.
Salvador Perez coming up obviously can really open up this ball game tremendously and give them
He's going to. That's a ball into left field. And to score is Melendez. They're making you have to hold off on your play-by-play. How rude of the Royals. It's 8-3 now. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but Salvi said, hold on. See some White Sox fans. They're exiting the gates right now. 4-run inning. To third went Bobby Witt. Melendez came in to score.
I'm surprised that was a double. I mean, that really wasn't. I mean, because they threw to third, so then Salvi probably went to second. Makes sense.
He's like, I may be older, I may be a catcher, but I got a little bit of life in me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, throw was the third, and Moncada's back was away. So, yeah, you could see great base running there by Perez. Went halfway and then just fully charged in. Moncada obviously was obtained the ball and was facing away, and that'll be it for Jimmy Lambert. La Russa's going to go to his bullpen, and that's the last thing you want to do is try and, as you said, waste and burn out an arm just for one batter. But obviously this is a 7-3 ball game, and I mean an 8-3 ball game. And obviously 2 more runners in scoring position to make it a double-digit ball game. So that is pretty unfortunate there, but Tony La Russa will be making the call to the bullpen to get 1 out. And you hope it's a quick out, maybe a first pitch swing. Because like I said, last thing you want to do is just waste an arm like this. So Lambert with a really rough inning. 2/3 of an inning. Not an ideal start.
You got to come in and face Vinny Pasquantino, who's had a great night. He's been on twice. I want to see if he walked as well. I'll double check when I can in a second. It looks like I'm trying to make sure we don't get the ad in the view for copyright reasoning. But he's had a sneaky good night. I mean, the whole Royals lineup has shown up. I mean, you look at it, 14 hits. 8 people in that lineup have reached base. And to be honest, it seems like every one of them has at least scored. So, I mean, if you look at the game breakdown here, we didn't have a lot of action until the 6th inning, and it's been all offense since then. The Royals getting the 3 spot in the 6th, 2 on the fielding arrow, and then Harrison coming through for his 1 hit tonight. And since then, it has been 7 straight from the Royals, 6th, 7th, and 8th on. Someone who's not happy is Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, obviously Cueto had a pretty decent outing for the most part, only giving up 3 runs, and his bullpen just came in and completely really exploded.
2 other people you would think are frustrated are Graveman and Hendricks, knowing that they probably could have done better than what's been put out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would you want to waste Hendricks in this, though?
No, I mean, not at this point, but you would think they maybe could have gone Graveman in the 7th, and maybe that sets up a better opportunity in the 8th. You're not losing, you're tied. That's a whole different ball game, but then yet again, the guys that have come in have not put up zeros. I mean, let's see what Ruiz does here. If Ruiz can get out Pasquantino here, lefty, that maybe you could have put him in instead of Diekman, and you give Graveman the other inning, and bada boom, bada bam, Hendricks maybe with a chance to get a save. But that's a hypothetical. In reality, the Royals are up 8-3. A base hit would probably give them a 10 spot. And it looks like sooner than later, the Royals are going to be improving to 46 and 66, and the White Sox 56 and 55. 1-0 popped up. Foul ground, giving chases Moncada and Grandal. Moncada says he's got it, and that will end the inning. A big sigh of relief there from Ruiz coming in and getting the out, but a 4-run 8th inning for the Royals has them poised with an 8-3 lead going into the 9th inning. Hayden's going to be taking over in action. In the meantime, let's wrap up the rest of the MLB recap that we didn't get to earlier if you want to finish up with that, and then hopefully the Royals give us a quick 9th inning because I know we're ready to get off the air.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, top of the 10th, extra innings. That game is still tied. Going to be an interesting matchup. Twins and Dodgers. Twins were able to take the lead there in the top of the 4th. 3-2 ball game. Jorge Polanco had a 3-run homer. to right field. Obviously,
Yep.
Cubs and Nationals. Cubs were able to beat the Nationals 4-2 today. Two teams that kind of having an unfortunate season, but the Cubs were able to rally and put up 4 runs in the 7th inning, including a Nico Horner home run. So
That's
Cubs
rare.
fans like to see that. Some other extra inning news: Angels and Athletics. Angels won today by a score of 5-4. Were able to provide some offense in the top of the 10th inning.
Rare. That's an interesting series I want to spotlight here is the two modern day Moneyball teams that had identical records coming into play this week was the Brewers and the Rays, and the Brewers have won the first two in the series each by a run. So Rays North beating Rays South so far in the series. We're looking for a sweep tomorrow. That's honestly a very interesting matchup there. Those teams always have a good product with the low payroll.
You consider the Brewers a Moneyball team?
Yeah, I think they're also a very low budget team. I think the Rays would kind of be your modern day Moneyball, right? With how the A's work now. I mean, the A's owner got richer about a decade ago, and they're continuing to not spend money, which is a whole thing. I wish they'd sell the team. I don't know if it'd be necessary for them to go to Vegas, but I mean, Oakland sports are dead. The A's or the Warriors moved across the bay to San Fran, won another ring. The Raiders go to Las Vegas. They're a playoff contender. They might win a Super Bowl here within the next couple of years. And now you got the A's who are just trapped in the old Raiders facility. And California tax money is going to be a lot to buy a new stadium. I think it might be better for them just to follow the Raiders to the Vegas. You already got the hockey team down there. You already got your AAA affiliate down there. You could follow your brothers and the Raiders down there. I don't think baseball crime would be as much of an issue as it is with the football guys. I just don't think so. So I don't think that'd be much of a problem, but yeah.
Coming into the top of the 9th inning, Luke Weaver will come in to try and finish things off. Lenyn Sosa will come up to bat, 9 1-2 hitters to lead off. He will take that first pitch just in the zone, 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
He's 0 for 3. He struck out twice, flew out his most recent time in the 6th.
And obviously, like most of this White Sox lineup, not an ideal night. Weaver will throw his third pitch, and that'll be just inside on the strike zone. Kind of a closed call. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. It'll be a 2-1 count here to Weaver. As stated, Sosa is 0 for 3 on the night. Does not want to end 0 for 3. He will pop that one up, going back to the warning track, going, but the center fielder will catch that. Kyle Isbell. That ball was hit quite sharply to center. Isbell went back to the wall and caught it, and that will be one away. Sosa is retired. So that is 1 out for Luke Weaver. Yeah, that ball definitely had some carry on it, to say for the least.
I'm sure you're seeing the Field of Dreams stuff on your screen right now. How funny is it that Lenyn Sosa and the Miners played a game at the Field of Dreams Stadium a couple months ago?
That's funny.
Very ironic. Fox doing their little double dip, showing the preview of their action tomorrow night and also showing the connection to the broadcast tonight. So good campaigning there by FS1.
Here comes Josh Harrison, the leadoff hitter. 1 for 4 on the night, responsible for 1 run. He had an RBI single in the 6th. He will take that first pitch just inside. We actually will now have a 1-1 count. He will foul that changeup almost off his foot, it seemed, down the third base side. And he will take a couple steps and try and just shake that off, wiggle it off, and he will step back into the batter's box. It's a little slowly. May have got a little hit on his foot or ankle or something, but he seems to be okay. Weaver on the 1-1. He will foul that one off once again. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. We'll have a 1-2 count here from Weaver. Weaver trying to get a grip on his ball, communicating with his catcher, Salvador Perez, on what will be thrown to Josh Harrison. 1-2 count here to Josh Harrison. Weaver will throw. That'll be taken just below. We'll have a 2-2 count. Harrison having a good eye there on that. Pretty nice changeup. Great drop. 88-mile-per-hour changeup there. Pitch. That'll be going back. Oh, wait. That'll be foul. I was couldn't really tell what happened there, but that will be foul ball. The Royals right fielder Eaton was expecting that to go fair, and it looked fair off the bat. Going, so it's hard to tell what happened.
My bad. Sorry for the.
You're good, man. No worries. So 2-2 count here from Weaver. Harrison trying to put up a good at bat, fouling 3 pitches off. One of those, almost a double to the gap. And we will see what will happen. Rangers have a 5-3 lead in the top of the 10th, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Weaver sets the pitch, 2-2 count, and that'll be just below and outside, inside. 3-2 count here. Obviously, try and work his way from a 1-2 to a full count. Is a rally possible? You never know. White Sox will get the rally caps on. Full count. That'll be hit. Going out in between the right fielder and center fielder. And Nate Eaton will make the catch. I don't know if they read that poorly, but he will make the catch. Had to kind of put a little pep in his step. Harrison hit a little opposite field blooper to the right field side, and Eaton, I don't know if he addressed that poorly, but had put a little pep in his step towards the end, and that'll be the second out to retire Harrison. White Sox are down to their final out, and will put the rest of their faith in Luis Robert. Robert obviously left 2 on base, 0 for 4 on the night. Not an ideal night. He will take that first pitch way outside, and that'll be a 1-0 count on a slider, ball 1. Obviously, Royal fans in Kauffman are all standing up, hoping that their team can get the W tonight. 1-0 count here. Robert will just foul that one off on the changeup. So like stated, the Royals are hoping to get the W tonight for their 46th of the year, so they will just be 20 games under 500. Robert will step back into the batter's box. You can see fans behind home plate standing up.
I'm ready to stand up too.
Weaver will throw the pitch. Swing and a miss. Robert taking on the high heat, 96-mile-per-hour fastball right down the pipe. Swing and a miss, strike 2. We have a 1-2 count here. The White Sox are down to their final out on the night. Luke Weaver having a pretty clean 9th inning, only 15 pitches so far. 1-2 count here from Luke Weaver. He will deliver the pitch. And that'll be just fouled off. Once again on the 96-mile-per-hour fastball, 1-2 count remains. Luis Robert trying to put up a good at bat, just like Josh Harrison. Fouled off plenty of pitches on the fastball. Trying to keep the at bats rolling. 1-2 count from Weaver. And that'll be, just outside of the strike zone. That'll be a ball, 2-2 count on the fastball. Fans are pulling out their phones, hoping to record the final out. Memories, fans standing up with their beer. Looking very impatient.
Sure they are. I'm sure they didn't expect them to get this far. Now they're like, this game won't end.
That'll be fouled off once again. Count remains. So White Sox fouling off plenty of pitches against Weaver, especially on that fastball and changeup combination. They're fouling them back and down the line. try and keep some at bats alive and work up Luke Weaver's arm. Thrown 17 pitches, 10 of those in the strike zone. 2-2 count. That'll be fouled off once again. The count will still remain. Plenty of foul ball pitches as stated. If only the White Sox could put up some at bats like this a little bit early on, maybe they could have rushed out Bubic and went to the Royals bullpen a little bit sooner, maybe.
If only the White Sox bullpen could be like this too, because Weaver is a pitch away from retiring the side in order. Same with what I believe it was Goldman who worked the last inning or something along those lines. He struck out the side, and they have a chance to cover 3 scoreless innings, while the White Sox bullpen and 2 innings of work, 5 earned runs. So
another pitch fouled off once again on an 82-mile-per-hour slider. We have an 8-pitch at bat already from Luke Weaver. He's thrown 19 pitches, 12 of them in the strike zone.
Again, Scott Barlow is up and available in case it gets to a save situation, but I think they're hoping that Weaver can just get him one more strike here.
For a full count now, that'll be a ball. .88-mile-per-hour changeup. Trying to find some location of the strike zone on a secondary pitches. The full count. Luis Robert will hit that one going deep back to the track on the wall to make the catch. How about that? Isbell, or whoever that was Isbell, I believe, make the catch back-to-back on the track. 2 balls hit sharply in this 9th inning, but we're not able to leave and able to stay in the park. And Luke Weaver will finish things off. Kansas City Royals will win this game by a score of 8-3. Royals had a good night offensively, 8 runs, 15 hits. Notoriously had a good outing in the bottom of the 8th where they put on 4 runs and beat up the White Sox bullpen. And they will be 46-66, 20 games under 500. White Sox are now 56-55. Only
you're frozen there, so I took you off because I think your camera's frozen, but I just realized that. Is there a way you can turn it off and back on because to finish this out? Because like for the last 30 minutes you've been small enough to not be able to tell, but you're like frozen.
Oh.
Yeah. Glad I caught that though.
But you heard me fine though, right? Like you heard my comment.
Okay. I heard you, but as soon as I full screened you, you become frozen. I mean, you look at can you see yourself in the box moving? Because like down here, you're just sitting there like this.
Here, I can hold on.
A wild ending here, that's for sure.
Can you see me now?
Unfortunately, not for some reason. Do you want to just go cameras off and we'll
Whoops.
I can't. We'll just go like this to end the stream, so it looks a little bit better. But again, that's a tough loss for the White Sox. They dropped to 56-55. Now the Royals coming back with 7 straight runs in the last 3 innings and change to win it 8-3, 3 scoreless innings from the Royals bullpen. Chris Bubic going 6 innings, 3 earned runs. That's what you call a quality start. And they're showing Charlie Freeman throughout the first pitch tonight in LA, which I absolutely love as a Braves fan. And the White Sox now 2 games back of first place, so waiting to see what happens in LA if the Twins or Dodgers come out victorious. If the Twins win, they are tied for first. If they end up falling short to the Dodgers, the Guardians the Guardians will have sole position of the AL Central lead. But thank you guys again so much for watching tonight. I know we're having some camera difficulty here at the end of the stream. Nearing the 3.5-hour mark, you try doing a White Sox-Royals game for fun in the middle of August and see how fun it is. We hope we made it as fun as possible tonight. The Royals were able to score us a bunch of runs. And we will see you guys again Saturday afternoon for our live edition of the Long Ball Podcast, episode 2 this time around. And again, Sunday night for the ESPN telecast between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox live from Fenway Park. Along with Hayden, I'm Blake. For all of our networks here tonight, Hardcore, Hayden's, and my own, we will see you guys Saturday night. You guys take care, and we'll see you guys soon here on Hardcore Sports, the Atlanta Kid Networks, and Mets Talk with Hayden. See you guys next time.
Take care, guys.